The hangout is live on air. Hey, there we go. Welcome.
Bearing's a prick.
Dude.
Not
Stir
talking
the
about
pot
him yet.
straight away. Fuck him.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the very first live stream on my channel. So that's kind of exciting. I don't know why we kind of chose for it to be here, but it's kind of cool. So I hope you. Oh God! Oh Jesus! Stop!
It's gone mental.
I was watching the video and it was all getting kind of weird. So
No.
today in the hangout we have a couple of friends of mine, and we're waiting on a couple more. Oh, we're waiting on one more. But we have Demotivator Opinion.
Hello.
Down there. We've got Christy Winters over there.
Good evening.
Hi. We've got Kevin Logan.
What's up, bad boys?
And then we've got the American Anarchist. Gah!
Hello.
Yep, there he is.
Oh,
Hi.
I speak in a posh British accent, which I don't at all.
We're here to talk about War Corps 666. So Kevin had a few things he wanted to talk about in that vein. So why don't you go?
Clear up, because basically I'm only in this chat because I thought it was about something completely different. Because I'm such a walking completely rounded human being that I didn't even read the first line of anyone.
Yeah, you were like, I'm not paying attention to this. What the fuck are you guys on about?
It's like they're having a hangout. Fuck it, let's join.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm the drunk at the bar that gets invited to a random party and then no one knows me. Yeah, walk up for our thing,
Was there an
challenging
actual issue
us to
that
debate. And
One
he said,
one at a
I'd already
time.
agreed to-
One at a fucking time.
He said that I'd already.
Go.
Who the fuck is talking over me now? What? Anyway, Walkup said that I had agreed to a debate with him, and I've never spoken to him directly, ever, in any capacity. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. The fucking mad, degenerate drunk. Fuck's sake.
So hold on, he made a video in which he said that you were going to debate.
Yeah, he made a video calling us all out. I think probably most, if not all, of the people in this room saying you should debate me. He didn't say about what and for what purpose, and then said,
Okay.
"Oh, well, Kevin Logan did a thing," and he backed out. And I've never spoken to the cunt. I don't know who he is.
Yeah,
Basically, I've never met him. I've never talked to him. I've done a video about him because he's one of the most fascinating fucking cretins in the world. He's brilliant.
Fascinating creature, probably a satirist.
Well, I'm not entirely sure he's human, to be honest. I'm really not sure what he is.
Yeah, personally,
Yeah.
I've never
Triple H
watched,
really let himself go.
I
yeah,
just
personally,
noticed
I've
his
never really
clocks are
watched
gone.
his stuff. Yeah, I saw that. It's kind of weird.
Where the fuck's
He
his
had a thing
clocks?
going.
It's
Yeah,
like
I mean,
Jim
they come to the gym for the
Gaffigan.
clocks.
It'd be
Yeah.
like Jim Gaffigan after a heavy blow to the head.
But like,
He gave me.
without his clocks, what has he got? He's like, I was like, how's he going to know what time it is all around the world?
But they were
Yeah.
never
He
Oh,
gave
no.
me
think anyway, so they were always wrong.
With the batteries in? No.
Probably not. I think he wanted to make himself look like a proper journalist, but he just made himself look a bit Ron Burgundy.
Now he's just got a fucking blank wall behind him. I mean, it's just depressing.
I reckon his hair makes him look like the Crypt Keeper. You know, the guy
I think
from
his mom
Tales from
probably
the
made him take him down.
But yeah, I saw that video. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna have a debate with Christy, Kevin, fuck. That's what the whole thing
He
was.
gave me special conditions. He gave mine special conditions that all answers had to be less than a minute long.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
do you
like, don't
understand how
fucking rabble.
length of
That's
a minute?
because he can't. That's because he can't comprehend anything for more than a minute.
Yeah, I love that. He said, "Oh well,
It's better than Sargon, but not that great."
he
Sargon
said,
is like
oh,
20 seconds.
you're a PhD. You should be able to take me on easily, but you can't speak for more than a minute." What difference does having a PhD have then if you can't string more than 10 seconds or 10 words together? And then he butts in with, they're feminists.
There was a guy. There was a guy in the
And
Twitter
then
conversation last night, Christy, that
chokes on his
when
vomit.
we were talking with Bearing, who said that because someone said something about how Christy. Oh, he linked a thing saying that you would pwn Bearing when if you had a debate with him, and he was like, whatever, Christy pwn, she's so stupid, da 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 da. And then he went on to say about how you had blocked him because his points were too
good.
Too good. You blocked him on
Oh,
Twitter.
yes.
And
That's
said
what
that,
I said.
you were scared.
He should have given
because-
those points to Sargon. He should have given those points to Carl before the debate. Because,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's the thing. It's not that Christie would pwn him. She'd pawn him. She'd sell him to a shop and just
Yep.
get
Yep.
the
Right.
£5
Like
for it.
paw joke.
Wait, so what's our conclusion about the whole walk-up situation? Are you guys going to be debating this guy?
No,
I don't know. I sent him 6 tweets, and if he actually responds, I just might do it.
I might send him a fucking pamphlet about alcohol treatment, possibly, but I'm not going to.
Fine.
Jesus.
I think the whole like debate me thing is kind of weird, and it seems to be more used as like a gloating kind of tool than anything. You know, like people challenge someone to a debate, and when they don't want to, for reasons that probably aren't that you feel scared or whatever, but more like, why would I want to talk to this person?
Well, Sargon did that precise thing with Steve Shives, and it was really disgusting because Steve had made it plainly obvious he was never going to debate him, and so he just wanted to make some sort of cheap, childish point.
I mean, Sargon's offered me like 3 or 4 hangouts or debates, and he never gets back to me again. So, like 3 times, he's been like, "Do you want to discuss this on a stream?" And I was like, "All right." And then I messaged him, and I was like, "Yeah, well, so we're gonna do a stream?" And he was like, "I got a family thing going on now, but I'll get back to you." And then I never hear from him again. That's happened like 3 times.
Why did he start talking about the guy from the Monster Mash?
Who? The guy from the Monster Mash.
Sorry, go on.
You lost me, bro. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about anymore.
Have you never heard the Monster Mash?
Yeah, but what's it got to do with Sargon? Is this...
Because you did a voice that was like the guy from the Monster Mash, and I was like, why is Sargon talking like that?
Holy shit, it's just like some kind of nervous tick or something.
Oh, did you guys hear that supposedly Sargon's now a Marxist?
Who is? Oh yeah, he is. He's a Marxist.
Sargon, yep. And I wonder where that leaves the Anarchist.
Did you guys see him triggering the alt-right with gay porn?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was interesting.
No, I missed that. Can you summarize?
Yep.
He was
basically
interracial gay porn because they don't like that sort of thing.
He started fighting with some alt-right people on Twitter, and then he was like, turns out the alt-right's just like, well, I'm doing Monster Mash again. Just like, fuck! Just like SJWs or some shit.
So tempting.
And then he's like, oh, so what do you guys think of this? You Nazi elite or something? And it's like black people fucking each other like black dudes or whatever. And then he's like, oh, I bet you guys like this, don't you? And then he just started sending them heaps of gay porn.
Because even when he's doing something vaguely like good, like taking on the alt-right, he still has to be a bit of a homophobic prick about it.
Yeah, because I was like, this is awesome because the alt-right is terrible, but at the same time, he's putting gay porn all over Twitter, and it's kind of annoying. So it's like, I don't know how the fuck to feel about this.
I enjoy it.
That's fine, but
I couldn't avoid that joke. I had to make that joke.
Do you know what was the upshot of the whole him soliciting illegal material?
that was BS. That was basically a Photoshop by an alt-right person.
Yeah, I knew it was a Photoshop. I looked at it. I'm like, Carl of Swindon isn't that much of a douchebag. Like, he's not,
which is really dangerous.
He's
got children.
Yeah. See, I couldn't say for sure or not because he's friends with Milo, who
feels sympathy for child rapist priests.
Yeah,
yes.
basically. He doesn't seem to care whether that sort of stuff happens, only whether it is like opposed to what he, like doesn't support his agenda or whatever. Like he'll call out a child rapist or a pedophile or whatever when it suits him to sound like the good guy, but when it's a friend of his, he doesn't give a fuck. So I was like, I don't know if he would sink to that.
You guys know, like, Spinosauruskin, whatever his name is, that guy. He was, like, saying how fake it was, and then he said, it's not real unless you can post a video of you opening up the chat window and then showing the conversation. So then the guy who sent the original conversation did that, and he did a video of him opening the conversation. He was like, look, there it is. And then Spinosauruskin was like, but you can fake a video too, and then he faked a video. And then I was like, okay.
Okay. Also, well, okay.
So
Well,
now
you
I
have
don't know
different-
what the fuck's going on. To be honest, I don't know.
So
Well,
lots
anyway,
of cross trolling there.
It's a wash. Trust trolling, is that what it is?
Cross trolling, yeah.
Oh, cross troll. I thought you said trust trolling. I was like, this is a new type of trolling now. Fuck.
Isn't that when you
No
go
track.
Isn't that when you go up to Jesus when he's receiving his punishment and start doing jokes about him?
Did you first have to invent time travel so that you can go back and do that? Is that?
But think how amazing the joke would be.
Jesus
me,
is in
yeah.
There
the-
you go, Jesus. Your hands are holy.
Sargon soliciting for child porn is, to me, right now, is just a wash. I couldn't say.
Well, I feel like I need it. Yes.
You need a wash. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's the internet.
So we.
Anyway, Bearing, yes, Bearing. You might get.
No,
an
anyway,
invite.
so
Don't
banning
do
butts in
people
video
think
games.
shit.
What do we think?
What was that?
Banning butts in video games. What do we reckon?
I personally think that
And all
butts should be
asses,
replaced by
we have to
faces.
cover everybody.
That's a good idea.
All butts
How about-
should be
I think
replaced by faces.
I think
So we
you
don't
put
have
it in-
Burgers on them.
But the
Butt
people,
joking.
the people who complain about, oh, the feminists and the first world issues, and then they're going on about butts in video. Oh, get over yourselves.
Well, Anita did bring it up.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Strategic
fine. You
butt
can
covering.
respond. But you can absolutely respond, and there are perfectly legitimate criticisms of her. But when the biggest issue you have to deal with is, oh no, someone said there should be fewer butts in video games, your life isn't that fucking bad.
It's actually not even
She is
that.
our
It's the fact
representative,
that
though.
men's butts don't get shown as much as women's butts in the video games. That was her whole fucking point. And just nobody actually cares about that. They just want to say, fuck, I need a Sarkeesian because she won't
I don't
go
know
out
that
with
I've-
me.
Well,
I don't know
much,
if I've ever watched-
She won't come out with me.
You won't go out with me. I've asked her so many times. I'm always running her house.
well, to bring it back to a degree to the topic of conversation for tonight that we were supposed to be talking about.
Walk ups.
The-
More cops.
Well, Walk-Ups to a certain extent as well, because he falls into the camp of Anita Sarkeesian cottage
boner.
people. But like Bearing has made a little cottage industry of essentially harassing small feminist channels on the internet. People like Walk-Ups and Sargon and whoever have made a little cottage industry of harassing Anita Sarkeesian, even if she makes the most bland, banal, inoffensive, obvious point like, oh, sometimes women are sexualized in games, and that's not necessarily always a positive thing. That all of a sudden, you're trying to censor me, you're as bad as Stalin. You know, it's ridiculous.
She's trying to get those off of the shelves. She's trying to say how we can improve video games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it's a
that's the whole
girl.
point of criticism.
Girls do stuff. God.
It's a girl. She's got
Girls can't
cooties.
tell me how to make my video games. That's not how the things work.
Well,
Freedom,
especially in the case of
liberty.
He should
I'm just
take
checking
advice
out
from
the
me,
chat. It's fucking funny.
because he can't actually
Yeah, I
create
was-
any games, even when he's funded to do
Sad
so.
circle jerk. Cowards. Something.
Yeah.
Somebody
Hashtag invite
playing-
Bearing.
You and me are
Hashtag
rapists. Straw man.
There's a lot of beers.
Straw
A
man.
lot of-
What was the straw man?
Do you realise, just
Bearing-
a quick message to Bearing, because presumably he is watching this, being the sad prick that he is.
Of course
Do you
he is.
realise how pathetic it is that you've got so many subscribers and yet you care that we're talking about you? Really?
Oh, yeah, like my video where I did, it was titled A Quick Message to Bearing. It was literally just like a 50-second clip that fades in and out, that's just two human middle finger emojis. And it says, fuck you. Bearing gets so offended and calls me a bully by it. And I was just kind of like, Tim, of course, had to come along and joke that it was cruel. And I thought, oh, shit, did I really do something that was wrong? Because I feel like all I said were two words that
Yeah, I created this hangout.
I
So
love
ridiculous.
that. I love the fact that he gets so easily offended, even though he uses the C word like punctuation. It's ridiculous.
It's kind
I
of
was
funny
being-
because, like, I'm looking at the chat. The hate is flowing so fast. I can't even like read one comment
Yeah.
before it's gone, and there's another hateful one.
Well, there's
It's
currently
crazy. Send them
there's
off
currently
to Gulag.
16. Well, there's currently 1,700 people watching. I assume most of those people are.
Oh, you've topped 3,000 dislikes.
Yeah, wow, look at that. Yes. Before this stream started, the dislikes were already at 2,000. Bearing is so butthurt. It's ridiculous. We
I
had
mean,
him
we're-
the
yeah.
stream.
Chrissy's
it's just downvote
still
brigade.
somewhere else.
Yeah, we're still waiting on Christie. So
We need something else to talk about before she
Yeah.
shows up. So
Well, I've been playing The Witcher 3. That's really fun.
Well, we can.
That's old
we
fucking
say
news,
that
man. That's an old game.
Yeah, well,
I like the
well,
fact
I
that
didn't want to put him out because
there are
money,
four
but-
men talking at the moment, right?
Yeah.
By the way, Kevin Logan is not on the Sex Offenders
And
register.
we've muted Christy because
Yeah,
think
No,
she
I
did
just
do
have
so.
background noise. I just have
Hey,
background sounds in my street. So
there are four men talking, and we have presumably quite a few MRAs listening to this and whatever, and we've got several of them saying "kill yourself." I thought you cared about male suicide as an issue, guys.
Yeah.
Is that not? Is
No,
it not,
they don't. They've
people
co-opted
just
it.
like
no,
men.
they care about alpha male suicide.
Well,
We're just a bunch of betas. Like, who cares?
Well, they also
Yes.
seem to ignore,
Well, it's-
like, when
Well, if
They
Bearing
use
such
that talking
alpha, why
point.
is he following the betas? Why does he care what the betas are doing?
Because they're weak and they must be
It seems-
destroyed because they're
I don't
cucks.
really understand why he's so like. Does he do this about everyone that talks about him? Like, if there's
Pretty
everything,
much.
He's got the Sargon disease of if you mention his name in a video title, it's like a crow seeing a shiny thing. He can't help himself. He just has to
Actually,
go.
Bearing
she
is
might-
even worse than Sargon on that issue because I did my video on Sargon. Sargon never posted it and sent a downvote for Gabe. Bearing did. Of course, very few people actually went and did it because my channel was like something out of the way that nobody really fucking
I think
cares
from now
about.
on, maybe we should like everyone here should like put Bearing in the title of any of the videos that you make. So even if you're not
Even
talking
if
about
it's
it
not
at all,
about it.
and then what's he gonna? It's gonna be all these things, and he's which one? I don't know which one. We could just not talk about him ever, but just have his name in the title. He'd never know. He'd be so confused.
That's
That
why
would be
I
so
thought, yeah, we
fucking
should
hilarious.
talk about War Corps the rest of the time. But I don't have much to say about that guy.
No, neither do I.
Just like-
Don't worry.
Well, I can
Drunk.
say that he's got the sex appeal of his namesake,
What is his namesake?
War
the
Corps.
corpse.
Yeah, but what is a War Corps? Is that a thing?
I presume it's just
Well,
someone who died in
I said
the
a
war.
I actually just said a corpse in general.
There's definitely a black metal band called War Corps. There's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
presumably.
Oh, here we go. There's a fucking hardcore band called War Corps.
Yeah, I know that. Funny enough, I actually used to listen to them.
Really? Like
Yeah.
punk or something? Oh yeah, that was the other thing. So Kevin, how's Rory Cats doing?
The little
Rory
ginger
Logan.
dude. He's
What's he up to?
He's probably asleep, I imagine. Yeah, actually, he got into a fight the other day with a black and white cat outside.
Fucking
Got the
racist.
shit-
Oh, so it's a lot of cats.
Hey, American Anarchist.
Is Rory a racist?
Is
American
Rory a
Anarchist,
racist?
Your
Yeah,
well,
he got in a fight with a black and white
your
cat.
audio's all
Well,
crackly.
he's French, so yes.
Oh, shit.
What is that, Michael?
Disgusting.
I was
Saying
racist.
your audio's all crackly.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
audio's
Probably was the
cracking it out.
distant.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna fucking abandon you guys and get a coffee because Chrissy's still not here.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah,
are a
I
bunch
think
of
we should give it
fucking
like a-
cucks.
Another few minutes, but then we can maybe start with how this hangout came to be when Tim gets back with his coffee, and maybe hopefully Chrissy will be back by then,
Chris will be back in.
or will be here by then.
Yeah.
Hey, where
People in
Michael
the
lives,
chat-
it's not
there's some
coffee,
people in the
it's
chat
coffee.
saying, "This is boring." Well, if it's boring, then fuck off. Anyway, so we're gonna coffee.
Why are they using my cat now? Leave the cat
Yeah, that was-
alone.
Do you know
That
what I
was
do when Kevin Logan has a boring hangout? I fuck off. I go do something else.
You have to be here
it's
watching
both-
this, all 1,700 of you. It just seems kind of odd that you would choose.
You can watch it later, you know.
Yeah, this
And
is
then
great
do the
thing for
Sargon-
YouTube where it stays on the internet.
Well, now we were.
And then do the Sargon thing of skipping every 20 seconds.
Yeah, I like
Watch
the fact
20
that
seconds,
now,
skip 5 minutes ahead.
now we're up to 3,200 dislikes. I feel like there's a peer pressure for me to dislike this video now.
I think I already
this
liked
hangout
it though,
sucks,
so
guys.
no, I've already liked it, so I can't change that now. I'm
Actually,
sure
I'm
that
gonna
I'm sure
like
that
it.
after the fact, Bearing will chop this up to pieces, or maybe not the whole thing, but a bunch of it, and misrepresent us to hell at some
Yeah,
point.
so what I'll
guys-
do now is I'll give him some sound bites that he can chop up and take out of context. And yeah, I'm a Nazi.
Yeah.
I kill puppies with my bare hands. There we
Yeah,
go.
I hate
You can
kittens,
go-
and horses and ponies are the devil's tools.
Yeah, I keep
I
a
put
zebra
people in
a
gulags.
So, guys, should we maybe get started with how this hangout came to be, and hopefully Chrissy will be able to join us here really shortly because obviously she's important for the chat. But also, American Anarchist, can you just check the chat for a message I've left you? Yeah, so I guess I don't know that I'm really the best person to give the whole story, so maybe some other people can help here. But there was a chat where it was on masculinity, wasn't it? Oh, Tim's not here. And there was some comments made making reference to Bearing's video. That was a reaction to a TED Talks, and Chrisiousity had some concerns about it. So sorry, here's all the background noise I was talking about. Well, first Bearing made a video going after her for making a mistake. Everything in the TED Talks video 100% right because she was doing it from memory and it wasn't even the subject of the chat. She kind of characterized it, and it was mostly on. She didn't deviate from the sort of spirit of the story. But he made a video going after her because for misrepresenting him, and she made a clarifying video, and he made another video. So am I getting it didn't happen to me, so I kind of feel awkward talking about it, but am I getting the timeline right?
I'm pretty sure that's the way things went down. And then we, because Chrisiosity mentioned that she was going to, respond to him again. And then we kind of just thought, well, why, someone suggested, oh, why don't we do a hangout instead? And so that was kind of how this kind of came about, I suppose.
Yeah, Tim, did you hear any comments on your channel about the hangout as per the discussion about rape? Because I know once Bearing made his video, my comments were flooded with, so the narrative changes as time goes on of what they're objecting to based on what his videos are talking about. Did you find that too?
I don't know.
Tim? Oh, okay, you don't check your comments or see it so much?
Well, I don't, with like Bearing commenters, a lot of it becomes like noise and shit. And I've engaged with some of them and had some actually pretty good, interesting conversations, but a lot of the other ones are just like noise, really. I'm getting some echo.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
Motherfucker, all of you.
Everybody mute if you're not on.
Mute yourself!
Mute yourself.
Do it!
And the music the moment you want it.
Yeah. That must have been Christy. Typical. No, it wasn't. Who the fuck?
Is it Kevin?
Fucking Kevin. Piece of shit. I'll just ignore that then. Yeah, like a lot of the comments are basically just what's going on in the fucking chat right now. Just like you're a cunt and you're stupid and you're whatever. And I don't really pay attention to that shit. It's just a waste of time. But I've had a few people actually engaging me about the subject of consent and shit, and yeah, I don't know. Some interesting points. I don't really have anything to say on the topic.
Yeah. But on a sort of related note, I think it's worth bearing. If you get a chance, look at the chat. Look at the kind of rabid scum you've got on your side that are your subscribers, mate, and maybe ponder upon that.
Yeah, my question to Bearing was, does it not make you feel kind of icky knowing that so many of your subscribers are a whole bunch of cunts? they're just the vile and the stuff that is spewing from.
Whoa, not all. Come on, guys. Every now and then I run into one that's kind of cool.
Hashtag not all Bearing subscribers.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of them earlier contacted me saying you're not that much of a twat. So that was.
Yeah, like beautiful backhanded compliment.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
So when Chrissy made the comment, Chrisiosity talked about doing a response, and as you said, Michael, I think I said, well, why don't we do a hangout, because otherwise it's one small channel against a person who's got several hundred, like 100, 300,000 subscribers. I don't know what he's got because I don't go to his channel. But to her to have sort of stand up alone when really on the points she's right. And so I think the idea of the hangout was for other people who wanted to talk about the issue of consent and why it's important to understand what consent is and get it right. We should do this hangout. I'm not quite sure. I guess, Michael, when you put up the hangout itself, is that when Bearing contacted you in order to try to invite himself into our conversation?
Yeah, well, I made the hangout just called something like a discussion about consent and bearing, and then Bearing linked it to us on Twitter, me and Tim on Twitter, and said, "So where's my invite?" And that's when we proceeded to kind of troll him, I suppose. I was having a great time. For someone
Well, Michael was trolling him. I wasn't trolling him. I was.
Oh.
Well, I was okay. I was like half trolling him, but I was also like, I can't speak on the behalf of like the 4 other people on the hangout. So he kept saying like, invite me, and I was like, well, I can't just say, oh, by the way, guys, we've invited Bearing, and you guys had no say in it, and now the hangout is completely changed. I don't have the power to do that. So it's like, let's wait for Christy and Chrissy and Kevin, who we haven't heard from.
What was that, Kevin?
And see what they have to say. And then Christy was like, well, I don't want to be in the same hangout as Bearing and shit. And so I was like, well, sorry, Bearing. I mean, Christy doesn't want to be in the hangout with you. And so I said to him, you could do a hangout with me and Michael if you want. And he's like, yeah, I don't want to be in a hangout with you and Michael. I want to be in a hangout with you.
Yeah.
It's like, motherfucker, like, I can't control the hangout. I'm just one person in it. Fucking
it looks like Christiosity is here, so she will.
Well, I was just going to say before Christiosity speaks, because frankly, you get here late, you have to fucking wait.
Women.
One thing that I found really amusing was that he was saying why one of the tweets he sent to possibly to Demotivator, if I recall correctly.
Just call me Tim.
Why? Okay, Demotivator, calm down. He said,
Kurt?
Why won't you invite me, you streak of piss? Does the second half of that sentence not give you a clue as to the answer to the first part?
Yes.
Well, it's always like pussy, coward, faggot, or something. And I'm like, dude, just chill your guns.
Yeah,
but then
why can't you handle criticism? Yeah, being called a cunt a million times a day, that's criticism, is it? Well done.
It's criticism of my levels of cuntness, which I guess are quite high. So, but it's like,
I mean, imagine being called a cunt is kind of a compliment, really. But...
Like, if Christy doesn't want to be in a hangout with Bearing, what am I supposed to do? Like, Christy, you have no choice but to hang out with Bearing.
Hello.
We're joined by Curiosity.
I would have done it, but I wouldn't have been nice to
button.
Bearing.
Guys.
Chrissy,
Let's calm
Chrissy's
down.
here.
Calm down. I know it's exciting. Chris is here, but
everyone
welcome Curiosity.
Are we live?
We are live.
Yes.
Okay.
Nah. So don't say anything incriminating.
Oh, okay.
It's too late.
I was about to.
Damn it.
I was
Just
bracing.
being in hangouts incriminating.
So where we had gotten to is we discussed War Corps, and then we went off on a couple tangents, and then we laughed about how the people in the comments are flipping out, and that was entertaining. And then we had just gotten started with the history of sort of like you guys being on my hangout and Barry making a video criticizing your off-the-cuff memory of characterizing the story, and then your response and his response, and then the fact that when you decided to do another response, we decided to do it as a group and a hangout and have a chat about the issues of consent. And then this is pretty much where you stepped in.
All right. Well, hello. Hey. So thanks everyone for being here, I guess, to help me talk about all the fun I've been having and all about consent and things.
Cool.
Thanks.
All right.
It feels like the main act got here. We were just the warm up. We were just like the opening band, and now Chrissy's here to take us
waiting,
through.
It feels like whenever I come in.
When I walk in the room. So do you want to kind of want to talk about your experience with what's kind of gone on here, Chris, and then we can kind of get into.
We haven't talked about why Bearing wasn't invited. We talked on it a little bit, but I haven't given my perspective, and so you've got perfect timing if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I would have no problem inviting him if he were to apologize to me for some of the things that he said. He's called me a liar, a manipulator, and a man-hater, all without offering me a chance to talk to him. He's never messaged me. He's never asked me for my take on anything. He's just gone ahead and done that. And, for me to be called a man-hater, that's just the worst, because I have, I'm married to a wonderful man. I have 3 male children. I have worked with men for years, and it's really upsetting to be characterized in such a way like that. It's so unfair. It's unreasonable. And, you know, if he wants to apologize for slandering me in that way, that's fine. But I don't think he does. At least that's my understanding, is he's not interested. So he's never extended any particular courtesy to me. And
Well,
I don't
he
see...
called you a dishonest, manipulative liar in his response to you. And then I was instantly pissed off because I was like, I fucking know Chrissy, and she's not a dishonest, manipulative liar. So that's just fucking slandering, really. Like, he's just like, you know, dragging your character through the mud to a fuckload of people so they can all be like, yeah, look at that feminist cunt, or whatever.
Yeah. And like, even the video, the thumbnail for the video is...
Liar.
Lies. I woke up to that in the morning, this big black box that just says lies with my avatar's face on it, like, well,
he said, I never called her a manipulative liar. So then I was like, well, take a look at the description of your video. And then he just reply, because he's full of shit, because he fucking did. He called you a dishonest, manipulative liar. And then somebody said to me, what, like, how do you accidentally lie, or whatever. And I was like, exactly. So it wasn't a lie. It was a fucking accident. Look up lie in the dictionary, you fucking moron. Lie, like, if we read about lie is always something that you're informed about and you know that you're not telling the truth about. So you can't accidentally lie, you fucking idiot.
Pure tribalism. Because, you know, if, let's say one of his buddies, Undoomed or Jeff, was in a holiday. Jeff Holiday was in a hangout and said something wrong. You know, would he be like, "Oh, you're a liar. How can you lie?
You got that wrong. Do you want to check what you said? Because that wasn't accurate." This is like manipulative, false liar, false prophet.
You know, would he be making Jeff Holiday's head on a big plaque that says "liar"? You know, for all to see, for shame, shame.
Look, check it out. Lie, a false statement made with deliberate intent to deceive. Deliberate intent to deceive. Intentional untruth.
You know, I'm pretty sure people in Australia also have been known to accidentally say things that aren't 100% true.
It's funny how comfortable he kind of is with calling someone a liar. Like even when I was doing my series on Sargon and in fact Tildir as well, I was it took a lot for me to then actually say that he was a liar, but I always also said, I can't really tell if he's being if he's being intentionally dishonest, or, you know, if he's just that stupid. And this was with stuff that he was saying that you could show that he was wrong about what he was saying.
I try to call people liars as little as possible because I think it's kind of well poisoning and I can't read minds. But in a previous video, I called Trump a liar, and that was like a big leap for me. I was like, I feel kind of uncomfortable. I mean, it seems like Trump lies a lot, but is it really fair? I can't read Trump's soul. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. But if I was somebody else, I'd have no compunction at all. Just be like, he's a scummy liar, piece of shit, fuck bag.
Get that shit all the time on Twitter, especially like even yesterday, like guys who like Twitter, Bearing followers, saying things about what I think. You know, like they can read your mind, and it's like, you can't read minds. How can you possibly know that? How can you possibly know the intention of this person?
Bearing said to me, like, you think you got raped? And I was like, I never said she got raped. What, you're just making it up. I've never said that. It's just made up. It's not what I think. It's invented.
And I just want to echo what Chrisiousity was saying in terms of,
echo chamber. All right.
Oh,
go on.
Okay.
I was making a joke. It's a fucking echo chamber.
Oh, right. I thought you got feedback.
If I was in the chat, I'd be like, you fucking echo cunt. Anyways, go on.
Yeah, insofar as my reasons are the same. You know, Bearing has never shown me courtesy, and especially like in the last video, you know, I haven't seen it because I'm really busy. I've got like 3 videos making that I'm doing on the fly right now. I think somebody here watched it and made comments about he makes comments about my appearance and he mocks my name. The fact is, if he did that to me in the street, I wouldn't then invite him into the local restaurant and sit down at a dinner table and let him do it to my face over dinner. So if we're going to have a hangout here to talk about consent, he doesn't get to invite himself in. And he certainly doesn't get to do it after basically just showing us nothing but well, especially Chrisiousity and me, complete disrespect, not discussing the arguments, but going after us personally and strawmanning us. So why would I sit down with somebody and be nice to him when he hasn't been nice to me? So that's why I felt like we were going to keep the talk focused on the issue, the consent issue, and let's just go from there, because if he were here, it would be about him and about derailing things, not about really looking at the evidence. And Chrisiossity did a fantastic job in her video. So, American Anarchist, I think you need to mute your background because we can hear you. But Chrisiossity did a great job with that in her video, and I think we should spend some time on that.
Thank you.
Well, yesterday when me and Michael were going back and forth with him, I actually contacted Michael and I was like, wow, he seems so desperate to talk to us. Like, he can't handle not being in the hangout. So, like, I'll offer him a hangout with just, like, you and me, Michael. What do you reckon? And Michael was like, yeah, all right, cool. And so then I offered it, and then he was like, no, I don't want it. I just want to. I want to be in the main hangout.
And
like, okay.
In this yeah.
So it's just like being like a whiny fucking baby, to be honest. It's like, dude. I mean, we were like, we'll talk to you, and he's like, no. I gotta talk to Christy.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. I see.
And then like he's the alpha. He's the guy who's like all badass. But I mean. By his logic, that would make him a total fucking pussy. He didn't have the balls to face me and Michael. He is a coward. And to be honest, that's a joke, because I wouldn't fucking say that. I think it's ridiculous. He doesn't have to talk to us. We don't have to talk to him. It doesn't make you, like, brave or, an alpha or whatever. I don't fucking care. It's just like, that's his logic. Like, you want to hang out with me? You're a pussy. All right, let's do a hangout. No! It's like, okay. Make up your mind. What do you want?
I don't know how often he does this. Is it something he does quite often? Does he find things? I mean, I suppose there's not always people in hangouts talking about him, but hunting that he have his point, equally represented in.
Then he was like, and I'm going to invite a lawyer. And I was like, what?
Oh yeah.
Why are we inviting a lawyer? Like,
is he going to sue us?
It's like, should I go invite a fucking lawyer, and then all of us can just leave? And it could just be like,
lawyers can have a discussion.
How about just like me and Bearing and his lawyer, and then I'll find a feminist lawyer, and then we'll just like have a fucking, I don't know, adjudication about something.
Well, I like that as a concept because he basically, if he's going to start suing people, then basically every person he's ever made a video of would surely have a good case for defamation of character.
But he's got a really good lawyer.
His reason for bringing in the lawyer is so that like they could clarify the law surrounding consent and stuff like that, so that
okay.
But
like Bearing would be like, so what do you think about this point, Tim? And I'd be like, I've chosen not to answer it this time. My lawyer will be telling you about this. So
yeah. The lawyer that he had as well, like we went to his Twitter page and he was like the most crazy ass right wing motherfucker, like liking Paul Joseph Watson posts. And
as a hardcore extreme right winger was his lawyer that he wanted to invite on.
Yeah.
Lovely.
It says like constitutionalist.
So should we get to the first video?
Let's do it.
Right.
This is Kevin's magic moment.
This is your job, Kevin. Don't fuck it up.
Well, you've set it up exactly. You've set it up now, and I'm bound to balls it right off.
Don't fuck it up.
That's okay. Then it'll just be like every other hangout that you do live, so we'll all feel at home.
Exactly, yeah.
There we go.
Giving you the true Kevin Logan experience. Right.
Sarah
College grape culture.
Going to college. She can't wait to get out of her parents' house, to prove to them that she's an adult, and to prove to her new friends that she belongs.
Good times.
She heads to a campus party where she sees a guy that she has a crush on. Let's call him Brett.
You mean this guy's made it all the way through high school and into college without being named? Well, that's just bad parenting.
The next day, Sarah wakes up with a pounding headache. She can only remember the night in flashes.
Sounds like she got fuck-eyed, spasticated, shit-faced drunk.
But what she does remember is throwing up in the hall outside Brett's room.
Fuck-eyed, spasticated, shit-faced drunk for shizzle.
Then silently staring at the wall while he was inside her.
That almost hurts to listen to, doesn't it?
While he was inside her.
Doesn't it? While he was inside her.
Wanting it to stop. Then shakily stumbling home. She doesn't feel good about what happens, but she thinks maybe this is just what sex in college is.
Well, it was sex in a college.
1 in 5 women and 1 in 13 men will be sexually assaulted by the end of their college career in the United States.
Do we want to just discuss that much?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to mention how phenomenally disingenuous that was. It is sex and it is a college. Clearly, that's not what you meant. You fucking absolute piece of shit. You're either an absolute moron or a piece of shit.
We also said like the
first time I
don't
watched
really
it,
understand
I reacted.
the joke. I don't really understand the joke of zooming in on her face and like slowing down the when she is inside him.
It's supposed to look like it's supposed to make her look silly.
Yeah, but she's talking about rape, so why is it funny?
Because he's marrying and everything's funny.
Yeah, they don't care about this. They claim when pushed on it, they'll claim to give a fuck. They don't actually give a fuck.
When I watched it before my response, literally my first reaction was I literally yelled at my phone. It was rape on a college. It wasn't sex on a college. Like
I just want to also ask, if they dismiss the 1 in 5 number, do they also dismiss the 1 in 13 number? And if not, why not?
Oh no,
based
the
on
1
what
in
data?
13 is valid, according to them, because they want to push this narrative that men have it worse than women.
Okay.
And I only have one comment on that, and it's something that comes up later. Is like when you say something was sex, are you saying that it was also not rape? Like, are those two distinct categories, or are you saying that if it was sex, it also could have been rape? Because if you're saying it also could have been rape, then I'm like, yeah, well, it was sex, and then it could have been rape as well. Or are you just saying no, it was sex, so it wasn't rape? You know. And I read it like the way Bearing was saying it. I read it as like, sex is not rape, but I don't know if that's. You know, like, I don't know if they're two distinct categories. So.
I think of them as two distinct things. Sex is has consent on both sides, and has consent. As soon as consent disappears, or if there is coercion or something in there that makes it really something that makes it very sketchy, shady, it starts to blur the lines and become rape.
Okay, well, yeah, that's just a matter of
sexual assault.
definitions, like how people are defining sex versus rape, if they're different things. I guess they are.
I wanted to say something about the statistics just quickly, because I don't know which specific study she's linking to, but this is a very sharp woman. This is an infectious disease epidemiologist. She understands statistics. She understands. She's worked in the White House with like AIDS research and things like that. She was trained at Johns Hopkins, so she knows how to look at a study. It's not like she would just she didn't just Google it this morning and come out. You know, it's just something to put out there, because she does. I don't know which studies she references.
Did she? Oh, sorry.
I was just going to ask, what is the purpose of denying that 1 in 5 women are raped? I mean, is it
so it's not that big. So it's not that big a deal. So we can just sweep it under the carpet.
Okay.
They say, well, it's
which makes me
so who cares? Is basically their argument.
Even that, if there's 2 women being raped on college a year, and it's due to the fact that these people seem to not understand consent, I still think that these people should learn what consent is.
Well, yeah, that seems to be the thing that kind of sticks with me is people's inability or unwillingness to understand how consent works. Like,
I think it is an unwillingness rather than a lack of cognitive ability.
I tend to think that as well, because, like, I mean, in the context of something that's not sexual, people completely understand how consent works. Like, it's the tea analogy. Like, if you've watched that video about tea consent, you know, if someone asks you over for a cup of tea and you say, yeah, sure.
I like your car analogy.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. It's people understand consent when it's in relation to one of those things, but as soon as it becomes in a sexual context, suddenly, I don't understand how. It's so difficult to
but what if
understand.
this happened, and what if that happened, and this happened, and then the other thing happened, and what if they were terrible people who were trying to force the, it's like, oh my God,
Right?
my
I think
comment section is a mess.
yeah,
It's like everyone.
as someone who has taught before, there's nothing wrong with learning. And if you're new to a campus, for instance, because you've moved there from out of state, then you should learn what the laws are in that state. And you should know when you're like teenagers should have education what consent laws are in their state as part of their health courses. So there's no reason to say it's a bad thing to educate people on the concept of consent and the laws where they live. I don't see the argument how that harms people. It can only help people.
And that
Yeah,
is, I think, what people are talking about when they say teach men not to rape. They're not. People get offended at this idea of educating people for some reason. Teach men
well,
not to rape.
exactly. I mean,
Hashtag not all men. Well, fuck you.
when is
It's not about.
when
It's not about.
when has education actually made a situation worse?
Right.
When is knowing more about something? Well, I suppose knowing more in a sense, but education in general makes the situation better.
But censorship is not
if we have consent courses, it's not there to teach men that they are rapists. It's teaching people the sort of the more finer points of it, basically.
I think that's the thing. Like when people say, feminists hate men and that kind of shit, it's basically just an interpretation of their beliefs in which you add that on top and you decide, well, based on, unless we're talking about radical feminists like kill all men or whatever, yeah, sure. I mean, maybe they hate men. But, I mean, if you're talking about other feminists, like I would say people like, well, I'm not a feminist or progressive or whatever, like people like us or whatever, I would say it's just because we have criticisms of, I guess, the way males conduct themselves in the world sometimes, but that doesn't mean that they're all fucking rapists. If they were all rapists, then I would have to say that about myself, and I'm not. So it's stupid, I mean, men are just fucking human beings. They're not rapists.
When I think of
I don't even know. Like, it's such a straw man. I don't even know how to deal with that because it's so out of left field.
Well, that's the thing. I think Chrisiousity summed it up really well earlier. She's got a husband and 3 sons. She's not.
I saw a comment that said, "Oh my God, I feel so horrible for those children about Christy's kids," and I was like, "Why? What's gonna? Why?
Well, they clearly have a better parent.
Why these children are taken care of quite well by their mother?
Because Chrissy, like every day, Chrissy's like, "Now remember, kids, you're all rapists." Like every single day. That's what you teach them.
Well, I mean,
it's like feminist education.
Oh God, no.
And then they have to go to confessional, like feminist confessional or something.
As opposed to teaching kids about consent, because it's a generally useful concept to have, and then when they hit their puberty years, it's going to become even more relevant. And let's face it, consent education can help men protect themselves. This is something that's not talked about, I don't think, enough. That if you made a rule that you weren't gonna, if a woman was too drunk to drive, you weren't gonna go to bed with her to protect yourself. That would mean that, you would be sure that she understood what was going on and could consent. And I don't think that that's an unreasonable thing to ask people. And consent courses can bring up points like intoxication and when someone is too drunk and how you can make yourself vulnerable as a man to things if you can proceed with a situation where the woman looks to be completely out of it. Those things do require education and talking, and then maybe doing some personal experience or doing some role playing or looking at vignettes and deciding what would you do in the situation if you were sober.
I think that's
those kinds of things.
I think that's a really interesting point, actually, that you sort of briefly touched on there. The idea of men protecting themselves. You see so much within the kind of bearing circle, let's say, of people, the kind of cadre of arseholes. The hysteria they have.
Of arseholes.
Well,
poisoning here.
Well, it's not poison. It's basically it's a biological field note, is what that is. Okay.
Scientific fact.
The hysteria they have about things like false allegations and women deciding that somehow they've got this idea in their mind that if women are drunk and they consent and then later they deconsent or whatever, and all this fucking hysteria. Having education courses will help you protect yourself against those kind of situations. So why are you against?
I thought it would be like, if you're talking to your kids and you're like, hey, you should be respectful of women, and then the kids are like, you calling me a fucking rapist? Huh? You calling me a rapist? Like, no, I'm just saying you should be respectful. Why? Because you think I'm going to beat them? You fucking bitch.
I do want to jump in.
Relax, Jesus.
So jumping in here, just to say, we should also say that people of all genders can be raped. We're not saying that is not.
There's only two genders.
A reality.
Well, according to the guy I was
adding that in because I was just about to make that point.
According to the guy I was discussing with on Twitter, apparently all feminists think that men can't be raped. So,
fuck.
Well, despite the fact that feminists are the reason male rape even got considered a definition.
I love being told why I believe.
What's that, Kevin?
I say I love being told what I believe on Twitter.
Right. Me too.
Yeah, whenever I wake up in the morning and think, man, I don't really know what I believe today, I go to Twitter and it tells me.
I'll ask one of Sargon's fans. They'll know.
Seems today that I'm a Stalinist.
Oh shit! Because I'm an idiot, I went and I watched that video that Thunderfoot made about teach men not to rape, and his opinion seemed to be that that rapists. That's like a sexuality. He was like, you can't.
They're like rapist Americans.
Not to rape is the same as gay conversion.
Yeah, exactly. He was saying that he was
sexuality. You fucking moron! What are you talking about? And then did his famous rape falls on a spectrum between legitimate rape and just bad sex.
Just bad sex.
Oh my god! I mean, to be fair, like one of the other guys that I was discussing this with as well, he seemed to be of the opinion that rapists are like psychopaths. That the only people that rape anyone, they do it because they know that it's bad and they don't care. That's but that I think is a bad idea to have.
But Chrissy was making the point that lack of education on this issue could lead to people almost like quote unquote accidentally becoming rapists when they take part in activities that they didn't fully know was rape. So it's good to know. It's good to like be informed so that you don't get caught out. That's what Chrissy was saying,
Yeah, I think it's perfectly plausible to essentially accidentally to cross that line.
And not know you're doing it because you're not educated on the issue.
Yeah. Like I say, when has education ever hurt?
Well, that's a problem for men. Like that's actually looking out for them. Yeah. And it's not a matter of like opinion. It's not a matter of like we're trying to say that you're a rapist. We're trying to say like, hey, you should be careful because shit can go wrong, and then you end up in trouble with the fucking law. That's the point, isn't it?
That was a point I felt is not being made often enough. It's a point that I think in terms of consent courses it's an important point to bring up in terms of how it benefits everyone.
And it depends where you live too, because like it's different in all the states. It's different in all the countries.
Yeah, there are some states and some countries, for instance, that have rape by fraud laws. And that, in fact, I think in Israel, I want to say that people have been called up on rape for telling people they weren't married and didn't have any children. And that was considered sort of like tricking them into or something. Like, that's not, I don't know. Again, that citation. Is me going from my memory. That is
citation, liar.
Yeah. Don't make any video. She's doing a disclaimer.
Disclaimer. That's me going from memory. But there are places, I know this, that have a rape by fraud or rape by, like trickery. Did anybody ever watch that Revenge of the Nerds thing where the guy dresses up in a Darth Vader costume so that he can have sex with the girl and she doesn't know it's not her boyfriend?
I have never seen that movie, but I have heard of that part.
Yes, so that would be rape
if
by
you
fraud.
laugh, that means you condone it. So you just
but I mean that also
That totally makes sense, though. Like, if you're having sex with someone, but they think you're someone else, they're not giving their consent to you. They're giving it under false pretenses. You know.
Yeah.
Also,
So
can I just bring up the fact that because Chrisiousity made that unfounded claim against Israel, that's anti-Semitic.
You fucking Jew hater.
Oh no, Netanyahu's gonna sue her.
I have Jewish ancestry, and so I'm fucking offended as fuck right now.
apparently
I
apparently
really-
there's like
Well, check me first, because I don't think I'm wrong, but I could have some details wrong, because sometimes when you
Well,
just
sometimes
bring
you lie like a manipulator.
Yeah.
I was looking up consent courses, and apparently they have consent courses for high schools in California, maybe, like that children.
That's the thing. And actually, to a slightly lesser extent with college kids, but still with college kids, we're talking about young people here. They don't have a great deal of experience with the world, and especially with law, because they've never had really to interact with the law by and large.
Right.
So why can you just expect them to know what the law is?
And especially when like it's you grow up in a place. I know I read an article. I don't know if you saw it, Tim. I read this article about like small town New Zealand and about how
Is there any big town New
Fuck
Zealand?
off, Kevin. Small
Motherfucker.
town New Zealand. It's true. Our towns are all pretty fucking small. Anyway, it was about, and again, I'm going off the top of my head here, so don't quote me on this. But it
No,
was,
you're a man. You're a man, so you
Oh, so
won't
I'm
be
good.
a liar.
Okay, I'm good. Okay,
That's true.
everything I say is true. I am Jesus, actually. It was talking about like the small town New Zealand, and how in these places there's like nothing else to do for the kids but like hang out at basically like sex parties, where they all got like on the weekends they all just kind of get drunk.
New Zealand? What the fuck?
No, this was totally what they were talking about. But
This
the
is not right.
point was, Tim obviously missed out on these. The point was,
Why was
the
I
point
not
was that-
invited? This is fucking bullshit.
Let me get to the point.
Busy smoking
The point
weed
was,
listening to OPEC.
fuck y'all, shut up,
The time
shut
for
up.
the sex,
I
the
told
fighting
you.
after
Mute. The point was the point was, as I say for the 10th time, that these kind of situations like lead to and can foster like an unhealthy view of like sexual conduct. Like when it's just a whole bunch of kids learning how to and learning about what to do and how to do things and whatever with just a whole bunch of other kids, they're not gonna understand consent and all that sort of stuff properly, because it's just you know what I mean? Is that
Did they have to? Did they have to get past Lord Sauron to go to these parties?
fuck off?
Shit.
There were a lot of orcs,
There were a lot of orcs. Yeah, that was the fun part.
Always dress up parties.
Can I
Yeah.
throwing in? I just think of them as like, and I know that it won't be the same thing in other. Sorry, Balthazar. Balthazar,
you,
cut it out.
motherfucker.
Is everyone just getting cats on with it?
Like OSHA trainings or occupational safety and health trainings. I've had those in every friggin' job like I've ever been to. So they tell you to bend from the knees and not like keep unmarked bottles of bleach around. Stupid stuff.
Bleach is a running
ever
joke
tried
in the anti-feminist crowd, so
Have you ever tried
triggered
drinking
a
a
whole,
bottle of this? Ah.
you just triggered a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, the chat will now commence to tell me to drink bleach 574
It's
times.
bleach times. motherfucker.
I love the
Anyways,
fact that we're throwing in the chat every once in a while, so the people who watch the video later will, get a flavor of what was going on at the time.
Well, just to know we value you guys and
Well,
we care
someone-
about you.
Well,
So-
there's one guy repeatedly
Someone just linked a swastika.
putting lines of swastikas down for no fucking reason.
Sorry, Chrissy.
Apparently
Sorry,
I'm-
Chrissy. I'll
Apparently,
see the floor.
I'm mansplaining Mike. Apparently, that's me. I'm mansplaining. Oh, I got someone. Mike.
Well, it's true, because the moment Christy
Hashtag-
starts talking, all of us just start talking over her. So
yes.
it's true. Good
Yeah, but
point.
let me explain to Christy why
Shut up,
that's
Kevin.
not a bad. Let me just.
I'm gonna go ahead and block this guy. Block.
Giving
Boom.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
go ahead
afraid of
and
his
block.
criticism. We're terrified.
Oh, I'm censoring you. Block.
Oh,
Oh, the
So-
censoring has begun.
my freeze peach.
My freeze page.
I can't help but feel that
Block.
given a serious amount of power, you would be an awful dictator.
Yeah, fuck.
Dictator or
You would-
dictator?
Well, both. Why not? If you
Oh,
if you're going to dictate, you might as well dictate too. Fuck it. Stalin loved it.
And
Feminist humor.
it's ridiculous.
It's shit, isn't it?
Cowards.
Fucking stuff.
Friggin'.
Yeah, it is. It's shit. So, anyway, Chrissy, I think I interrupted you initially. Did you remember what you were going to be saying?
I was just saying that, to me, it's one of those stupid things that you just have to go through because there are a few people out there that will be confused. And just because maybe 80% of the people in the class are going to be like, oh, this is ridiculous. Why are they telling me, to bend from my knees when lifting? Everybody knows that, but it'll be the
Are
one
they trying to say I'm a
person,
rapist?
they've done
What do you mean? I'm a female abuser? Fuck. Anyways.
the one person that doesn't, the one person that's just wasn't there when they passed out common sense
As a
is the
rapist.
one person you want, and you don't know who that person is going to be.
Don't
You
teach
know.
my children not to slip on the stairs. Teach your pet children not to pour water on
Well,
And
why
then they
not
can
make
also-
people safe? Why not make, what is it, 20 minutes out of one day of your life? Come on, relax.
But
And
but
also,
when
they're
it comes
forcing
to
they're forcing men to take consent education, but women don't have to. That's what they're doing. That's what the feminists are doing. That's actually what someone said to me. They're forcing men to
Yeah.
go into these consent things, and women.
Well, everybody should do it. Everybody, men and women, should definitely both do it.
Well,
They should know-
also, yeah, when it comes to these consent courses, this can actually help men in another way, along with women too, knowing what the boundaries of consent are, knowing what the laws are, and knowing what they can actually legally report. I think
Right.
that drunk sex is considered rape by the law, or being that drunk is considered rape by the law. They might not want to report it despite feeling absolutely violated because they don't know if it breaks any laws.
Right, absolutely.
We haven't gotten very far through the video, but
All right, go.
Yeah, should
That
we?
was a half an
Kevin.
hour deep book. On to the next bit.
5% of them know their assailant. Sarah initially just feels like dealing with what happened on her own.
Dealing with what on her own?
She thinks, I got myself drunk, and I flirted with Brett, and eventually maybe I would have wanted to have sex with him.
Apparently you did want to have sex with him. Because you had sex with him.
It's partially
Okay,
my
stop
fault.
that.
He's
Okay,
not
stop.
a bad guy. It's not that.
That is just, I have to stop on that line because that line blows me away every time. Apparently, you did want to have sex with him because you had sex with him. That's like, apparently you did want your car stolen because your car is stolen. It's just ridiculous.
I just think it seems like he's not listening. She's like dealing with what happened.
Apparently
It's like,
you wanted
what
to be
happened?
rapey.
Wait, what? I'm not listening to this. What are you talking about?
One of the things.
Apparently you wanted to be
said-
drugged because you
That's
were
like-
drugged.
Bearing, there's a lady on the screen talking about something. Were you listening?
What? Yeah.
What about what? About the fucking situation she's describing, Bearing.
She clearly says that the girl remembers facing the wall, and while he was inside her, and not wanting that to happen. She clearly says
Wanting
that.
it to stop.
Wanting it to stop. Yep. But apparently, wanting it to stop doesn't mean that you don't give consent. Apparently,
All
that
right.
means.
So I'm sorry to stop it. We've only gone like 5 more seconds, but
Yeah,
that line drives me crazy.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Okay, did you go?
Yep.
Big a deal.
Yeah, but Sarah, whether it's a medium-sized deal, a big deal, or a small deal, it's worth retracing our steps, just so we know exactly what the deal is. So let's go over your version of events again.
She can only remember the night in flashes, but what she does remember is throwing up in the hall outside Brett's room, then silently staring at the wall.
While he was inside her.
So I don't get that joke.
She tries to act normal, but when she sees Brett...
Sorry, what?
I said I don't get that joke.
Oh, okay. Well, unless there are any more comments, we'll continue.
Campus, her back tightens up, her breath speeds up, her stomach churns. She begins to hide in her dorm room as much as possible. And when her friend jokes about her and Brett hooking up, she screams at him, "It wasn't like I had a choice."
But I thought you could only remember the night in flashes, but what you do remember is throwing up in the hall outside Brett's room, then silently staring at the wall.
Can we pause it there?
So did you, A, regain your memory
Oh, wait. Just listen to what he says after this. Sorry. And then...
of the night and realise that you didn't have a choice? Or B, calculate that lots of alcohol plus regretting having sex equals it's not like I had a choice?
Right, so... That bit kind of confuses me. I don't really understand what his contention is.
He's trying to say that she regretted having sex, which isn't kind. If she did not give prior consent in any situation where she wasn't that drunk, there's no way she could regret it if she doesn't remember giving the supposed consent that these people like to think is there.
This reminds me of a conversation I had with a Bearing fan, and they were basically like, so she regretted it, so then that led to this whole situation. And then I thought about that, and I was like, well, yeah, kind of, because if neither of them regretted what happened, there would be no situation. So it would just be fine. They wouldn't have, because no one would be bringing it up again. It would just be like, well, we had sex and it was fine. But one of the parties involved said, I don't feel good about this. Something fucked up happened. Something not right occurred. And if we reverse the situation and we instead had the guy regretting it, I would have the exact same view that the guy is saying something fucked up happened to him. So now we should investigate what happened to the guy.
It's not that she just regretted
Well, if you look at my video, I flip the situation constantly throughout the video and say, yes, if it was going the other way and he was forced to penetrate, it would still be rape.
Same standard. And if he was like, I feel like something last night didn't seem right, I would not say, well, shut the fuck up, you pussy. Be an alpha. Yeah, exactly. You're fucking regressive cuck, you piece of shit. Nothing bad happened. You got laid, you pussy. But no, I'd be like, it sounds like something bad happened to this guy.
It's not that she just regretted it, though. Like, she clearly says, he was inside me, and I thought, I'm wanting this to stop. How is that a thing that she...
I was only saying regret in lieu of using other words as well. Also, something went wrong. Something was not right,
it's not... I think they're using it as in regret, as in she was all for it, but then later on decided otherwise.
But
that's how I understand it.
Even if she was all for it right at the beginning. Say she initiated the sexual, the encounter. Say she came onto him and started having sex with him, but then at some point, because she says that this happened, she was staring at the wall and wanted it to stop. So she withdrew her consent at that point.
Well, but then if she didn't say anything, he wouldn't have known. But I mean, the point, she was too drunk to give to consent is the issue.
I mean, someone in the chat said, Brett was a silenced victim or something. So they're making Brett the victim. But on that, on a
technical note, Kevin, can you turn your sound down? Because we're getting some feedback and your camera keeps cutting in.
I'll mute that motherfucker.
Whose telephone is that?
Thank you.
I was going to say, if Brett was the victim, I would want him to come forward and tell someone. Is that so wrong?
Yeah, but he doesn't complain in this situation. So
yeah, in this situation, he didn't come forward and tell someone. And if he was silenced in some way due to feminazi culture or something, then that's bad. Because I care about men's rights as well. So if something bad happened to Brett, I want to hear about it. But we don't have his side of the story in this situation. And
yeah, but in this situation, we know he was the one doing the sexing or the raping or the.
Well, maybe he's got a different story, but we haven't heard it. So that's
true. We haven't heard the story. So
how can Bearing use his magical bear powers to read minds and just be like, well, this is just sex.
Read hypothetical characters' minds.
How the
Read
fuck do you know it was just sex? You don't know it was just sex. You don't.
I mean, I
could've
think
been
the
rape.
hypothetical part we have to be very clear on. She's just coming out with this story because she's showing people about her app. And here we are, we're acting like we're taking pretend Brett to pretend court to send him to pretend jail. That's not what
And
we're
everybody's
really
trying to
do.
adjudicate for Brett.
Everyone's slandering
Yeah.
Brett right now.
It's not what we're trying to discuss the issues raised.
Hashtag justice for Brett.
We should have invited Brett to the fucking hangout, you know?
Yeah, why is Brett not here? He brought his right-wing
What do you have to say for yourself?
Brett! No,
That's fictional lawyer.
That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to talk about consent in general. We're trying to talk about how to avoid these kinds of situations. We're not sitting here, if this was a real situation, like I said in my video, let's say she called the police. They would come, they would investigate. Maybe they would find, that he could go. Maybe they would arrest him, maybe they wouldn't. Maybe he could go to court, maybe he would win, maybe he wouldn't. It would depend on a lot of different factors because they would be investigating it and asking questions.
Yeah,
and
considering like 8 out of 1,000 people go, rape cases go to court, I imagine that, it wouldn't go to court.
But I think when you say that it was just drunk sex or it was just sex, in my opinion, that is rape apology because you are basically discounting the possibility that it was rape. And you don't know that, which means that you are erring on the side of it wasn't rape, sans knowledge. You don't fucking know that. And also, in the eyes of the law, it could be a different situation. Like, you might say, well, that wasn't rape, but then the law, as you said, is like, well, it was rape.
Yeah, you can't...
Or vice versa. You could say, like, it was rape, and then in the eyes of the law, it wasn't. So...
Yeah, according to the way the laws are generally written, consent is considered invalid if a person is significantly intoxicated. And
it's interesting. I just started reading the book Missoula. I just cut you off. Just mansplaining is ridiculous.
Tim the mansplainer.
He is every time.
Just stress the man is speaking.
But have you guys heard of the book Missoula?
No.
Which is about college rape. And this police chief makes the exact same argument. He says physical incapacitation differs from I can't fucking say that word. Incapacitation of the mind. And he said that the case would have been prosecutable if she'd been completely unconscious the whole time. So he's like, you basically have to be 100% unconscious before we can say that it was rape.
Which isn't the concept of... Oh, sorry. Chrissy, you go ahead. You go first. No. Definitely you go first, then I'll go.
How about I talk
All
instead?
Right.
I'm going to stop.
No, it's just there are a couple of concepts here, and you know what, Christy, you go first, and I'll collect my thoughts.
Okay, that sounds good. So what I wanted to say here was the idea of intoxication. If we think about it, this is consent while you're intoxicated, or the lack of ability to give consent while you're intoxicated is a staple of law. You can't sign contracts when someone is blitzed off their face and then think that they're legally binding. It's just not the way that the law works. And so, if she's to the point where she's vomiting, you just ask the question, would she be able to sign a legal contract in this state, given the state that she's in? And would it hold up in court? No, clearly. She's puking her guts out. And so then you would say, okay, she's not in a position, she can't give consent. And if you do anything at this point, knowing her state, that indicates that you're disregarding her consent. So I think that the idea of just the practical application of would this person be held to sign a contract for selling their house in the same situation is, it's a way to take the sex out of it and look at it purely on an issue of capacity.
Exactly. People
not to mention...
People completely understand...
But Chrissy was next, actually.
Sure. I was just affirming.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and I'm going. My God. I think we also need to go in and think about this in a couple of different ways. It's one thing to say, do we have enough information to bring Brett or a Brett-like person up on charges? And is it rape? Are two different questions. Because, even if we don't necessarily have enough evidence. People are innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. And sometimes you may just not have that evidence, but that doesn't mean it isn't rape. It could still have been completely rape. You just can't prove that it's rape in a court of law, in which case the standards of justice say that, well, we have to treat Brett here as innocent because he's never been proven guilty, and that's fine. That's how our whole civilization works. That's all of our laws. So, but there's this confusion and conflation that's going back and forth. Like, well, if you can't prove that it was rape beyond a reasonable doubt, that it wasn't rape. And it's like, well, I guess nobody ever gets raped in Saudi Arabia, ever. It's never happened before, because it's really hard to prove there. So, I mean, is that what you're trying to say? So,
is it fair to say that these kind of guys feel like or think that wanting to educate more about consent, or wanting to change laws so that that kind of idea is kept more in mind, that they think that we are doing that not because we care about trying to reduce the amount of people getting raped, but because we hate men or something? Is that kind of
that's about it.
Yeah. So because we want to educate people about consent, and because we want I mean, I don't know about changing laws or whatever, but if there was a law or some legislation that needed to be changed to make it so that rapes were you could convict rapists more. If we wanted to change that, we don't want to do that because we want to catch more rapists. It's because we hate men.
I think it's a paranoia. I think, and I've seen this. Some of Bearing's commenters, it's amazing their attitudes towards women. I mean, they really seem to think that women are just dying to go get drunk and have sex with you just so they can turn around and say terrible things about you and give false rape accusations.
Rape accusations all day long.
It is amazing. It's like, what women do you even know? People, relax. It's not.
And here's a question. What if they took that energy and put it into educating men in terms of what consent is and how to protect themselves by making sure that someone's not too drunk to give consent? Imagine that.
I just think obviously finding out whether what happened is inexact, and that's always going to mean that there's going to be a lot of controversy around the subject until they have some exact way of figuring out exactly what happened.
Poor Kevin's been on mute and also not playing the video.
I've now unmuted.
Yes.
He fell asleep.
Did you have anything to say, Kevin?
I think it's been covered. To be honest, I think anyway, let's.
Yeah, I think the chat's covering some really good topics, and I'm glad we're doing it as a group because it allows us to expand on each other's ideas and augment them, and this has really been really, really useful.
And it gives us a safe space where no one can threaten us. And
I love this echo chamber.
Yeah, except for all the people in the chat.
Maybe I should go back to muting some more people, putting them in the bad corner.
I told Bearing me and Michael would hang out with him, but he just wanted.
Put user in timeout. I don't know what you're doing. Put user in timeout.
You're not putting him in timeout. You're putting him in the gulag.
You're an arbitrary god.
I'm just
Also, why the fuck are we still talking about this? I mean, Clinton and Trump are debating tonight. Fuck all this Bearing shit.
I was about to say, I'm surprised Christy on one of her special nights of the year is
what a waste of time. Oh my god, this debate is going to be crazy.
It's not on till 3 in the morning my time, so I've got plenty of time. Yeah, it starts at 3. 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay, should we get back to the video then?
Yeah, let's get back.
Is there any way to watch it online? Because I don't have cable.
I say we stop talking about this bullshit and talk about the fucking debate.
Talk to me on Facebook.
Anyways,
all right.
Go on.
Play the video.
Rewind the video!
Sarah starts to label what happened to her as sexual assault.
After what? Yelling it's not like I had a choice to her friend. That doesn't make it sexual assault.
But still, she thinks, Brett's a good guy. It's partially my fault. It wasn't that big a deal.
Hang on a sec. If Sarah didn't have a choice, then it was rape, and Brett's a rapist. He's not a nice guy. This story's not adding up.
After graduation, she learns that she's one of 5 women that Brett did the exact same thing to. All were way too drunk. None consented. None reported.
What happened to Sarah, as you have explained it, is not sexual assault or rape, and I think the fact that you are painting it as rape is a bit fucked up. 1 in 13 men will experience sexual assault while they are at college. Is Brett part of that 13%? Did Sarah get Brett's consent? Oh wait, she can only remember the night in flashes. Rape flashes.
I read a
All
song
right,
on
stop.
Yeah.
and I started.
There's a lot to unpack here. First I should say Bearing has edited right over a whole bunch of statistics that this woman had put up. They're just gone. He doesn't mention them. To me, it's very intellectually dishonest that he doesn't even report that they're there, you know?
Would you expect intellectual honesty from Bearing?
Not anymore.
At all.
Anyway, so...
Guys, we can't mind read. I have to be... Because then people will say Tim was silent while they called him dishonest. No, he's very intellectually honest, right?
Can we mute Kevin's background again until Chrissy's done?
Well, no, this is with evidence. I'm saying that he's intellectually dishonest because when you're making an argument, one of the things that you do in a good argument is you point out the, any counter arguments. You're supposed to give all the information, both from your argument and from other people's arguments, as best as you can. Sometimes you may not know everything or may not have time, but for him to just gloss over. So the things he glosses over are that less than 10% of sexual assaults are reported, that the average time to report is 11 months after the fact, and that 90% of college rapists are repeat offenders who, on average, commit 6 assaults each.
Also, didn't she say like 5 other women or something reported Brett?
Yes.
And Bearing doesn't mention that. He's just like Brett and 5 other women came forward and said, something happened with Brett. And then Bearing's just
he immediately derails to give
I'm never going to mention
rape
that again.
accusation.
I'm not even going to mention what I just listened to. It's like
no information whatsoever.
Well, in my video, I brought up the fact that the fact that this shows an MO means he's probably more likely to be guilty. The fact that more people have accused him.
So
obviously, Bearing is a liar. So
part of why almost everybody's convinced that.
I didn't say liar. Intellectually dishonest is different than a liar. Intellectually dishonest, in my view, and maybe other people could jump in, just means he's not sort of following the rules of logical argumentation. So allow me to clarify that.
Yeah, I'll just jump in there. It comes back to the issue of the principle of charity, and you have to present your argument, your opponents, or whoever you're arguing with or against or about, fairly. And you have to give, the equal amount of, you can't then go and cherry pick or, not bring up a relevant topic.
That's Bearing's whole bit. That's how he does this thing. He chops up his videos to pieces and cherry picks everything real hard, and then it's because it's comedy. I'm making it funny. I'm a dancing bear.
Aim higher. Have a challenge for a change. Get a good argument. Try your brain on that.
And I'm sure Christy can come in with me and say it's not like they come and actually watch your video. Do you know how many people are on my video, accusing me of only using Wikipedia? Which is nonsense because Wikipedia is the only thing he showed. When all I did was put in that, one quick reference to Wikipedia to sort of get a general definition. And then I start bringing up Australian government sites and different, tables. And I'm showing, these, and I link a whole bunch of things. So it's not like Wikipedia was all I looked at, but they're all in there going, when you just put Wikipedia on, you look really stupid.
I think the
You're
fact
limited.
Yeah,
that
there's this
I think the
big
fact that
thing
this,
that they like to
hangout,
do called not reading the description at all.
I think the fact that before this hangout even went live, there was 2,000 dislikes, and that they had started having a hangout about this hangout before this hangout had even happened. Kind of, that's
Are
the sort of
they
shit-
having a
Ellen.
hangout about this hangout? Are you fucking serious?
Yeah,
Yes, they had
hashtag
a
triggered.
That's so meta.
No, are you
So
serious?
meta.
That's
him
fucking
and
ridiculous.
Jeff Holiday are having a
Oh
thing
my
about it.
god, that's pathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you guys watch your descriptive statistics on your YouTube analytics, you'll see that when like the Bearing fans come over to the video, the average watch time just plummets.
Yeah.
Because
Because they don't care. They're just looking for someone to confirm their biases. Well, I shouldn't say not all Bearing fans.
Hashtag no Bearing fans.
There
Hashtag
are
justice
some.
for Brett. Justice for Brett. Hashtag justice for Brett.
Oh, but
Sarah-
if they want to say that this is like some kind of echo chamber, I don't give a shit. You can say that if you want, but I don't like the fact that they're not willing to point out that they're in an echo chamber as well. And basically, like, when he had Danny on, which is another feminist dude, he had him on, and it was just like a fuckload of people bashing Danny for like 2 hours, basically. You know? And are you going to say that's not an
Danny
echo
Court?
chamber? Yeah.
Are you talking? Yeah.
It's not like everyone's like, oh, let's listen fairly to what he has to say and then, be charitable and actually try to understand his point of view. No, they're just like, well, look at this fucking beta
He's like,
cuck.
no, I want to pwn you.
Yeah, like, except he doesn't put it forth that way. He says, like, no, we're just having an honest debate or whatever. But that's not really what's occurring if you look at the conversation that's happening.
The amount of circle jerkery that's going on, like even on Twitter feeds and stuff, where you just, dozens and dozens of people just liking their own comments, and everyone's cuck beta fucking.
But I'm saying, if they want
coward.
to call this an echo chamber, go right ahead.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally,
that's
but
fine. But can't you admit
exactly the same thing.
the ridiculous circle jerk echo chamber occurring on your own side? Why is it always just like this side does this, but us? No, we're just like having the honest debate or something, because that's not accurate. You're not.
So should we get back to the video?
I wanted to say one thing about it, because he says he says, oh, what about Brett? Did she get Brett's consent? But the story clearly says that he is doing the thing to her. So if he didn't consent, he could stop doing the thing if he didn't consent, but he doesn't.
Yeah, he has, if he doesn't consent, he has a very, very counterproductive way of showing that.
Yes,
It's true.
It's a diversionary tactic. It's really a diversionary tactic, which is why I just put an intermediate fuck you in my video. Like, fuck you, you don't care about Brett. You just really, you just want to push your narrative.
Exactly, they co-opt the experiences.
He
of
wants
men
to claim,
to bash women.
yes.
They do.
You don't
He
fucking
wants
care
to claim
about
that
men.
men are oppressed.
Whatever.
Justice for Brett.
Hashtag justice for Brett.
And they're throwing out
Hashtag all
like
lives
that.
matter.
false rape accusations all over
Oh, Brett.
Sarah, who's done nothing that we know of. We don't even know that Brett had any alcohol. It's never mentioned, but no.
Hashtag shame lying sluts.
Yeah,
God.
That's the other one.
I bet that
Sounds
Brett's
like a
just.
Davis O'Reilly.
I bet that Brett's just falsely accusing her of rape. Brett.
Okay. We're going to carry on with this fucking video and get it done before tomorrow.
Don't we have like 3 other videos to watch after
Before the
this?
fucking debate.
No. I think just one. We're just going to watch one more.
Okay, good.
And what we've learned is that those who reported did so primarily to protect their community rather than an individual pursuit of justice. And those who didn't would have if they had known that their offender was a repeat assailant.
Okay.
And we asked them what they wished they wanted in college, and what they wanted was pretty simple. They wanted a website, one they could use at the time and place that felt safest to them, where they could receive clearly written information about their reporting options.
Hey, a smartphone app would be good too. You know, for busy girls on the go who don't have time to go to the police station to report a rape they don't remember.
Report electronically. Save a time.
Can I just say facepalm the face? Like, I just facepalmed so hard hearing that. a smartphone app would be good for busy girls on the go.
Ha 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 ha! You're so funny, Bearing. How do you get so funny? Your comedy is just cutting edge. So funny.
I just
Tell that joke about rape again.
Well, of course it would be good.
All right, well, go on.
Keep going.
A stamped record of what happened to them, preserving evidence even if they do wait 11 months or more to report. And lastly, and perhaps most critically, they wanted to be able to report their assault only if someone else named the same assailant.
Because a bogus rape claim will be more convincing if someone else is accusing them of rape at the same time.
You see, knowing that your assailant
What?
is everything, it changes the way you frame your own experience.
Sorry, I thought someone interjected.
Yeah, just saying.
What? So he called it bogus.
Well, yeah, he's decided before even making this video that he thinks it's bogus.
He doesn't even know that. I thought that was
Yeah.
our problem. I thought we were saying like it was definitely rape, but he's saying no, it was definitely bogus.
It's like those MRA fucking people who try and say, we are going to let off all rape cases regardless of the evidence simply because some cases may be false.
I just don't,
The fact
like, why
that
do you
Bearing
assume
has
that it's
decided
false?
that
I don't get it.
Because all women actually just want to falsely accuse people of rape. That's why.
Could be false. No one here has said that it
No, Tim.
might
All
not
of them
be
are
false.
All accusations are always false. That's how it should be. No matter how it is.
Well, but he said clearly it's bogus.
I
Which
know.
means
I
he's
know.
full of shit. Ugh.
It's basically the religious conviction. He's decided that his Jesus of the false rape allegation is true, and any evidence to the contrary is ignored, and anything that might be vaguely hinting at his truth is to be accepted. And you can tell it's a
false rape allegation.
He's essentially a false rape allegation presupposition on it.
Well,
It
I could be
seems
wrong,
like
but my impression is that
Angry Bastards joined.
yeah, that's random. My impression is that all of us think that we don't know if a rape occurred, but we do know that based on the law, it's likely that he'd be charged with rape, or
Or at least possible.
yeah, possible that he'd be charged with rape. Whereas Bearing knows
It
for a
could go to
fact,
court.
he knows for a fact that it was bogus, and he just said it was.
Even
So
though
he
4
was-
other women.
So
you
he
know,
knew somehow, and he knows that all these other 4 women are lying because it's bogus.
What does he think that
Right,
it's some
it's
like
the
weird conspiracy that
unluckiest
there's like
accidental rapist in the world, you know?
Well, to me, that's rape apology. That's basically saying I'm always going to err on the side that is bogus, even if I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and they say that that's innocent until proven guilty. No, it's not. That's basically just saying, like, sans evidence, sans an investigation, I'm going to say it's bogus. Because he hasn't said anything about any kind of investigation. And he's even, like, saying that...
He's not going with innocent until proven guilty. He's just going with innocent.
He's just going with
That's-
innocent. Exactly.
yeah.
That's the start and end of
Innocent
his...
automatically.
innocent against all evidence. The fact that 5 other women came forward and said that he had raped her as well.
All bogus.
Raped them as well. They're all bogus. They're all false. That's just the way it is.
It's just all bogus.
Does he really think that maybe that it's like a conspiracy of groups of women going around
Against Bill Cosby. It was all false.
All 50 of them lied.
But fuck, like Michael Jackson, how they said that he was like, a kitty fiddler or whatever. I didn't believe that because I was like, I don't know. I don't know if he did that. And I'm not sure. But then it recently came out that he had a collection of child porn. And I was like, oh, well, that's a bad data point against Michael Jackson.
Wait, I just want to know which rape case we're talking about in the media now, because there are quite a few. I'm from the Minister.
We're talking about a hypothetical rape case.
We're talking about a fictional guy who may or may not have raped a fictional woman.
Yes.
It's sad.
Yeah, when you have to explain it, it gets kind of ridiculous, doesn't it?
We're watching a Bearing video in which he is watching a TED talk about a woman talking about a fictional rape case, and he is making.
I've watched Inception.
Yeah.
Yep.
While we are being watched by Bearing and his friend.
Yeah,
So-
we'll also be watching.
It's bizarre. It's fucking.
So they're
Hello,
saying out
crazy
being
Bearing,
out
Bearing,
places.
Bearing,
Bearing is watching us watch him.
Yeah.
Hello, Bearing.
And I guess just like commenting on every little thing we say and giving it shit.
I'd also like to point out that this is my very first time hosting a hangout on my channel, and I currently have like 7 of you motherfuckers on here. So
You chose a good one.
Well, I didn't realise that Matt had turned up because Matt, for those who don't know, me and Andrew Bastards do like a regular show, so I'm quite used to his voice. And I can't see who's in
No one
because
knows
I've got
that.
this on full screen, so I can't see who's in the room.
He just turned up about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, okay,
Fucking
cool.
Kevin.
I'm talking in a room in the dark. I'm basically a blind man in the room at the minute. I can't see.
Poor Kevin. We just left him in the video bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Work, monkey, work. Play the video.
Kevin.
I'm just going to pretend I'm in the other hangout. So, I can't believe Christy just spoke. What a bitch.
Christy,
Oh, here we go. Here's Michael now. Ugh.
Oh, Jesus.
Bag.
Oh.
Oh, God, no.
What was that?
I just remembered a thing.
Google
no, you guys.
effects? Fuck you.
I am so glad I've just got my icon on.
Well, that's weird.
No, wait. Just imagine I told a really funny joke.
Damn it.
Yeah.
You're just giving these assholes material now. Let's get on with the video.
All right, and
Someone needs to mute him. Someone
somebody
needs to
kill
mute
Michael,
the guy
please.
running the hangout.
Okay,
Mute yourself.
I'm done. Jesus Christ.
I told you, we shouldn't allow him any position of authority and power because he will abuse it.
Never.
Bullshit.
Never.
Right, we're going to play the fucking video.
All right.
Yeah, but is that a good thing? Why should something completely unrelated to you and your experience change the way you frame your experience? The only thing that should have any influence over the way you frame your experience is your honest recollection of that experience.
It changes the way you think about your assailant.
Again, probably not a good thing.
It changes
Hey,
your
can
motivation
you-
to report.
There should only be one principal motivation for
Yes?
All right, so at that part where he talks about how the only reason you should ever report rape is because the only thing that should influence how you think is what specifically happened to you and not the fact that this person has an MO. And also he later goes on in the video to say, to just straight up say the only reason you should report rape
Echo.
is because you were raped.
All right, yeah. Let's
It's an echo
follow the
chamber.
whole thing.
My thought was, okay, so the only reason someone should report a murder is that they were murdered, because that wouldn't work. Like, you have to report stuff that happens to other people, like, in good conscience, in my opinion, just to...
Yeah, like, why do they have, like, a sex offender registry, then? That's because that person did something in the past, basically.
Yeah.
That's why that exists. So maybe, I guess, Bearing would be against that.
Before we start again, can Kevin just turn his speakers down during the chat bit and up during the video bit?
Okay.
Come on, Kevin. We'll give you one job. One.
So then go ahead,
fucking job.
Chrisiousity, just a technical note.
He's actually cut out right in the middle of the things that she says. She says things like, different things like why people feel
He
the way
never
that
lets
they
them finish their
do.
points.
Hang on, yeah, I'm feeling that. So, like, she'll say something like, when they know somebody's close to them, they start to feel less like they're all alone, less like it's all just them, less self-blaming, and all these sort of victim things that we know that people do. And yet he just takes all those things out. Like, he had to specifically go in and really edit around, what she's saying, just so that he doesn't have that stuff in there. It's just, he couldn't be saving but like 45 seconds of
It's
time.
too inconvenient
to do
for
that.
him to address.
Yeah. So, all right, just keep going.
somebody to report being raped, and that is the fact that they were raped.
It means that if you do come forward, you'll have someone else's back, and they'll have yours. We built a system that does all this, and it's called Callisto. And we included a unique matching feature, where if Brett's first victim had entered into the system, put in her information, and named Brett.
And what about Sarah's first victim, Brett? Did he enter his information into the system, just in case more victims of sexual assault came forward and named Sarah?
Imagine this at scale. If those who are silenced due to shame.
What a twat.
So hold on. Now he's saying that Brett has been assaulted by what's her face? The girl.
Sarah. Yeah.
Sarah. I don't care about women's names. Is that what he's saying? He's actually saying that Brett is a victim of sexual assault at the hands of Sarah.
Yeah, he's gone full circle from we don't know what happened, therefore you can't assume guilt, to she has definitely falsely accused him, to now suggesting that she has raped him.
This is the kind of logic that you saw on Thunderfoot's video, bad sex, quote unquote, the spectrum shit. It's like layers of inception to prove your point from manipulation over argument.
Like
But didn't he start out saying that he thought, yes, she had been raped? Then we didn't know. Then, I don't remember the middle one, and then at the end, that he was the one who was victimized.
Yeah,
so he's just...
that's what I'm saying, like, he knows what he's saying. He's doing it to be manipulative, at, like, flip-flopping.
But, like, I'm not making this up, right? Like, the thing he just said right now was that Brett was sexually assaulted by Sarah. Is that what he said?
Yes.
Yes.
And I think men can put in their information as well, just, I think, into the app.
What is the purpose of this app? Is it just gathering data, or do you do something with the data? Because I don't know enough about the particular app.
He doesn't actually, he'll let her talk about it a little bit, but he doesn't go into a lot of detail. But what happens is, all right, let's say Sarah reports Brett, and then 5 months later, it just stays there. It's no one can see it. It's completely private. Then 5 months later, Mary reports Brett. What happens then is it goes to the authorities. He makes it seem like they're doing some sort of social media ganging up together, plotting together thing, but it doesn't. It's the authorities get flagged that there might be a problem here. There might be some people to talk to.
I'm against public shaming because I see that as kind of like street justice. So if they're going on like his fucking Twitter and his Facebook and saying this guy's a rapist, I'd be so completely against that. It should be confidential between her and the authorities that she reports them to, and potentially anyone else who has had a similar encounter with Brett. But if they're just like going on Facebook and saying, Brett's a rapist and my app is going to automatically update and tell everybody, and then everyone else is going to be like, Brett's a rapist, then that's wrong.
It sounds like what the app does is that...
This is such a bizarre argument for something that's probably never going to be legally invented as a website, or it's like app.
It's been trialed.
So it'd be like publicpotentialrapists.com.
Well, I think
it doesn't look like that information is public. It's not that information is like broadcast out to the world.
This is real or fake? I'm so confused.
The app is real. So what?
Okay.
So what happens with this app? Because she's done this research, and she found that women often, they don't really want to come forward. They feel bad. They have a lot of internal victim blaming. So what will happen is, Sarah will feel bad, but she'll put in about Brett. But that goes into the ether. It's not revealed. It's not public. Nobody can see it. It's completely confidential. But there's a matching function so that if somebody else, months down the line reports Brett, the same person, what happens is that then goes to the authorities. It goes to the police.
Well,
so it's like a public, non-public journal?
No, it's not a public
public journal.
No, I meant like it's like not public, but it's like an unlisted journal.
Database would be a better way to say it.
Yeah, you're right.
And can I just...
So he's against collection of evidence. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say two things here. First, to Tim's point, I think I take on entirely your concerns about possibility for harassment, and the possibility of harassment and trolling. But I think there's also the issue here that this, I think, is trying to get at, which is worth discussing, is that the problem, at least on campuses where we've had documentation, is that there's a problem with serial rapists. So we're talking about a smaller proportion of the population, but committing more crimes. And when we take those 1 in 5 figures, I think we tend to generalize them and think, people go, are 20% of all men rapists? But if we can get to the people who are the serial offenders, then that will dramatically reduce the amount of sexual assaults on campuses.
Well, I think anything that is just
something to do.
Anything that's just coordination between people who would be legally classed as victims, whatever. I don't want to get into that whole definition, but coordination between them and law enforcement, I can't see anything wrong with that at all, because that's just normal law. That's what law enforcement does. They collect data and evidence and they investigate. So I can't possibly see what could be wrong with that. But if it's not confidential, then I can see a lot of problems. So.
Bearing appears to be saying that it's a tool that women can use to falsely accuse men of rape. That appears.
Well, and here's the thing: it's also being used for she open sourced the code, so it's being used in multiple countries for things like government corruption reports and things of that nature, so that the same kind of thing is being used in a bunch of different
bogus corruption reports. It's just bogus.
Yeah, I know. False corruption reports,
in general, when it comes to the way that Bearing talks about it, it seems like he's against the concept of solidarity altogether. The idea that people help each other out.
Yeah, because that seems like it kind of is good for that as well. That's another point. The thing that it's used for, right, is solidarity with other victims.
Yeah.
Let's have some more video.
Oh shit! Angry bastards left.
We offended him.
Or fear, or guilt,
or not having any memory of being raped.
We're able to find each other, come forward, and speak with one voice.
A bit like a form.
Imagine what the world would look like then. Thank you.
Obviously, the Simpsons thing wasn't her.
What's going on?
What? The Simpsons weren't cheering for her?
What's happening now? What's going on?
But he said
it's about a supposed false rape case.
Not having any memory of being raped. But the key word there is any. She has some memory because we just heard about it. Did you miss all of that?
She says
he plays a box.
He's like, I missed. Wait a minute, I didn't pay attention to anything this woman just said because she had. There wasn't any recollection of a rape.
I didn't pay attention at all. Therefore, she didn't actually say anything.
Exactly. I thought he slowed down and played the while he was inside her thing.
While he was inside her. I'm still hung up on this fucking thing where he's saying that she raped him. What universe do you live in?
Well, maybe he didn't come forth because he was too victimized by feminists to come forward.
But he was
too scared.
The thing that you just said about him basically not listening to what's been said. Again, it's another way in which he's quite like an evangelical Christian. Just ignore the evidence against your position.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it would be like a rape was not proven. So there was no recollection of a rape because a rape was not proven. But I don't think any of us have said that a rape was proven. But I do think we're saying there's evidence and that you can examine whether a rape occurred. But he said it was bogus, so he already decided. Yeah.
Well, what he tweeted to me,
and she raped him.
He made several sort of quite contradictory things because at first he said it's a bogus rape claim, then he said that she's the rapist.
And then he said no rape occurred. So, like, who raped
her claim is false. Her claim is false, but his is not.
Well, he hasn't made it.
But he's being hypothetical, but that's allowed because you have to be charitable to his hypothetical, and you have to be extremely uncharitable to anybody else's.
Speak, goddammit.
No!
Let Christy talk.
Can I just say yes? First, I'd love to see Kevin now that the video's over, and then also, I can't even remember my point. I was interrupted so many times.
He tweeted you. He tweeted at you.
Oh yes, thank you. So he tweeted at me that what we had to demonstrate in this hangout, and I'm paraphrasing, was that Brett was guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That was the challenge that we had tonight in order to demonstrate that he was wrong.
What? The challenge? No, this is not. This
I
fucking
have the
hangout
tweet.
is not being fucking dictated by Bearing. We don't have to fucking do or say whatever the fuck he is. Why is he like taking
just on a
control?
small technical note, the video isn't even close to being finished yet.
No, we don't need to watch that stuff. It's not important.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. That clip is a Fox clip.
Can we just stipulate
a supposed rape conspiracy
that false rape accusations can happen? Let's stipulate that because we're watching this completely random thing that has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about.
But Bearing seems to think that it's like this huge thing that like groups of women get together and plan.
It's a feminazi conspiracy.
It is. He seems to be saying that like this app will be used by groups of women to get together and falsely accuse men of being raped. That it'll be used as a tool to fucking.
Well, do you have any evidence that won't happen? Citation needed.
I think I left it in the toilet.
You got wrecked.
Hey, Kevin, you have to say it like Teal Deer does. The citation needed. That really like.
I don't need to listen to any more fucking Teal Deer. That guy's a toss.
Oh, that really cunty voice. Oh.
Anyway,
we've got to be nice.
He's basically saying the only way that we could be right. The only way we could be right would be by adjudicating and deciding this case in the same way that he did in his own video, where he decided it was bogus. We have to decide it was true, and then we win. So, guys.
But can I just say, what an entitled little prick Bearing is? He's tried to muscle in on someone else's hangout, which didn't work, and he's then tried to stipulate rules by which we must have our hangout that he has been explicitly not allowed to partake in anyway.
I know.
Fuck off.
Well, that's why Michael stole my name. Cowardly Bearing gets rejected from appearing in this hangout, then owned. If he was a fucking alpha, he would have managed to get invited, but
he would have muscled his way in.
Exactly. What kind of bear can't muscle his way in past a couple of humans? It's ridiculous.
Yes, they're chanting in the chat, in the live chat would have forced us to let him in if they just yelled a bit louder and called us a few more names.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't think they called us cook enough. That was the problem.
No, I don't think they have either. What is fuck off, Kevin? Look at the title of the video.
Anyways, everybody on the chat, I just got to say, watch that debate tonight between Hillary and Trump. It's going to be real interesting.
We will. Just get over it. It's not on yet.
All of us, let's forget about all this Bearing shit. It's going to be a debate between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. It's going to be fucking crazy.
Gonna throw down.
What is Trump gonna say?
I think he's gonna say build the wall at some point. I'm putting that out there.
But do you think he'll be hitting Hillary on just the crooked Hillary
thing?
That's
his economic plan.
Crooked Hillary with the super PACs.
Well, the fact that the amount of fucking crooked shit that prick's been into, and he has to do the audacity to call someone else crooked.
Well, and hopefully Hillary hits him back a bit.
Lion Tim.
Lion Crooked Tim. Little man.
Okay, so let's get back on topic.
Yeah, let's go to that.
So...
There's another video that we have to watch.
Okay.
Oh no, someone on Twitter called Evil Patriarchy Bear just told me that he lost all respect for me. Aww.
How did that speak for you in the first place? What the fuck?
Why? You can't play because of the video?
Well, apparently so. It's a shame because I always really loved having the respect of a man called Evil Patriarchy Bear. Brilliant.
Because you're hanging out.
And how the fuck will I sleep at night?
Like, I thought you were a beta faggot cuck, and now I just think you are a dishonest beta faggot cuck. Okay. I'm so disillusioned.
Oh yeah, they don't seem to like gay people very much, or like they don't like anyone who isn't straight. They don't like anyone who listens to the wrong type of music.
It's all jokes.
It's just they're egalitarians.
Just take a joke, man. Stop being so serious.
Humorless.
Not all Bearing fans.
Hashtag
not all Bearing fans. Hashtag
not all Bearing fans. Hashtag justice for Brett.
Hashtag all labs matter.
All right. So yeah, we have the next video should be shorter because it's his love letter to me.
Bitches, I am gay. someone in the chat.
What's the next video?
Respect.
It's
Kevin
sorry,
needs to find it.
Chrissy, you're still wrong. It's
Oh,
one of his two loving responses to me.
Okay. Can you find that, Kevin, or do you need me to, do all your work for you?
What? Am I fucking doing all the videos?
This hangout is longer than I expected. I'm gonna go get another.
American Anarchist, can you do it?
I'm real.
You guys can just
I'll do it, but I wasn't. I wanted to just come on and have a nice little poke at fucking Warcorp. Now I'm not some sort of fucking projectionist in a cinema. It's ridiculous.
No way.
I don't think I need to watch this vid. I know that the rape occurred, so I'm just gonna get it.
Nice. Well.
Where are we? Is it called Sorry Chrisiousity? You're still wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can get that up. That's not a problem, but I mean, just...
Yes, sorry,
Hey,
Kevin.
yeah.
Then you've got me doing technical editing in your ear, going, "Oh, can you turn your sound up? Can you turn your sound up?"
They're totally watching us. It's called Bearing. Oh, god damn it! There's a. Oh no, Jesus Christ! Oh,
can you guys wave to them? Wave to yourselves in your other.
I can't. It's my avatar. I'm
Hang
waving.
on, they're watching us in another hangout.
Yeah, it's called Bearing.
This is Hangout Inception. It's ridiculous.
It's called Bearing, Jeffrey Tits, and Nick the Attorney watch the regressive stream.
I love the fact that we're just laughing at them watching our stream. That's fantastic.
Also, Bearing
got
Bearing.
We should watch their stream of our stream. Oh, that would be amazing.
Can we also tweet? Can we also tweet to Bearing the things that he has to talk about in his?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
thing about...
you have to talk
Bearing,
about how to make perfect scrambled eggs because we fucking say so.
You can't. Paste. That's the video there, Kevin. Can you go ahead and?
Yeah, no, I've got it. I've got him all already.
Oh, I was fucking searching for you. It'll fucking work.
Good backup link. Good backup link.
Yeah, thanks. I feel so.
Right. Okay.
I can't believe that, man. How many likes does it have?
400 million.
It's only got 719 likes. I mean, it looks like we're winning.
Way more dislikes. Way more people came to you see yours.
So here's the deal. Christy Winters, Demotivator, Music Man Mike, Christiosity, and Kevin Logan are doing a stream about Bearing. They turned down his offer to be there and acted like assholes. So me, Bearing, Nick the legal expert, are going to simultaneously stream while watching theirs.
Nick, the crazy right-wing lawyer, a pretend lawyer on Twitter, who likes fucking Paul Joseph Watson. Oh, brilliant.
Hey,
the views of Kevin Logan do not represent the views of everybody in this chat.
The views of Kevin Logan don't necessarily reflect the views of Kevin Logan, to be honest. He's all over the place.
Check it out. I'm on the stream right now, and dislike. Haha.
You showed them.
Fucking showed those cucks.
I'm tempted to moon chat.
Oh.
So I'm moving them vicariously. That would be quite fun.
So should I get my dick out?
No.
Hey, Bearing.
Okay, I'm going to let you chat because I didn't realise this was going on so long and I have a tiny pathetic bladder. So that's a situation.
I'm actually real fucking hungry, man. Can someone, come and make me a sandwich or something? That'd be great. And
silence.
Silence. So what do we? So hold on. We're watching the second video now. I just what is? I don't understand. He's upset at us, or upset at you for saying that Brett is definitely a rapist. But then he goes ahead and says,
I knew it.
Go ahead and says that Sarah is a rapist. What?
I said innocent until proven guilty. I said they would investigate. I said Brett could face, issues if it came out like that.
You chose your language carefully.
Sarah's a rapist.
I never said He would definitely. I said that it is the law that having sex with someone who is intoxicated with, invalidates their consent, and that is rape. That's against the law to do that. But that's not. Brett doesn't exist. He's not real. People.
and don't forget.
Neither does Bearing.
If Brett was driving a car, if he was in the car doing the driving,
fucking Brett,
has he consented to drive that car? Of course he has, because he's doing the driving. In the same situation,
has the car consented to being driven?
Now that's the eternal question. Hashtag justice for the car.
Exactly.
All right. So
let's watch the fucking video.
Right, this is 10 minutes fucking long, so can we get through relatively long?
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, go.
I think a lot of it actually is watching the hangout that you guys had as well. So like a lot of the video is what you said, Christy.
Oh my god, it's a hangout inside a hangout.
Being watched under the hangout as well.
Being watched by a hangout.
I'd like to apologize for some misstatements I made about the video while in a hangout. This is what I said in a hangout. Bearing came out with a video just recently that I think is actually dangerous because it is about rape, but some of the things he says are so wrong about rape and consent that if people actually listen to what he says, they would actually be guilty of rape and
Is
be
he capable of being a better person?
Virtue signaling.
This is real now, because I'm trying to listen out for the voices of the people interrupting so I can stop it. But the same voices are in the actual video, so I don't know.
Is he capable of being a better person? I'm fucking virtue signaling. God, look at this guy.
You've got two people kind of calling the dog, and the dog doesn't know which way to go.
Look at this dopey, ugly cunt on the screen right now.
Well, this part doesn't go very long anyway.
I can't stand listening to this guy.
What have I done with my life? Oh, God.
You're being a very good projectionist.
All right, go. Do it.
They seem to have this very confused idea, and I think I'll have to do a video about it because it's like, oh my God, you have no idea. It's not that just that you're drunk and sex happens. It's who's doing what to whom and how. And it's not going to be, if you're dragging someone up to your room who's puking and barely with it, and you've taken their clothes off, and then you straddled them and all this other stuff, and you come back and somebody who's a police officer comes to you and says, well, what happened? And you tell them that, they're going to say, okay, here are your nice handcuffs. And some of these details were different from what was actually in the original video, as we will see, which makes it seem like Bearing is even more confused about rape laws than he actually is, because he is in fact aware that the hypothetical scenario described is rape, so he has my apologies for that.
I have your apologies for what?
And some of these details were different from what was actually in the original video, as we will see, which makes it seem like Bearing is even more confused about rape laws than he actually is, because he is in fact aware that the hypothetical scenario described is rape, so he has my apologies for that.
Oh, okay. Bit of a backhanded apology, wasn't it? Oh well, hopefully your next one won't be.
I don't know what I wanted.
Your next one.
She's apologizing for misrepresenting you.
Just you wait.
And she's also pointing out that she's correcting her mistake.
Yeah.
It's not a backhanded apology. Like, she's not trying to slight you, Bearing.
I just like his line there. Your next one will be more genuine.
More apologies for me, so
God.
we haven't even, because I'm that bad. I'm just terrible. Why didn't we want him in the hangout?
Like, Bearing's ever apologized for anything in his life.
Right.
Well, but I don't know what he wanted from me. I mean, did he want me to cry? Did he want flowers?
Oh, he wants you to cry and beg on your knees for his forgiveness.
Well,
Bearing.
Well, all I'll say is your next apology better be better than that one.
The thing about a correction is, correction, you've basically had the person that you're talking to admit their point, the point you wanted them to make. Move on. I mean, that's the classy thing to do, because there's no point in going back to it when you've already got the point won. So now you can move on to something else. And it just to make sour grapes out of it, it really goes against intellectual honesty.
I don't think the way you phrased it sounded like it could be kind of well poisoning. How you were like, he's more confused about rape law than he actually is, but you think he is confused about rape law. Yes. So why would you move the goalpost and say, now I think you're not confused at all? No, you just said, like, I still think you're confused. It's just that particular topic.
That's more generous than I've ever been.
Yeah.
But
so
I
what
mean,
are you supposed to say?
Like, he wants you to say, like, for being for calling me a liar, calling me a manipulator, or anything like that. I just let it all go. I said, you know what? Maybe he's just one of these dramatic people. Like, I'm not a drama person, but maybe he's just. Some people are very dramatic. I don't know.
If you want a drama person, look at War Corpse.
Anyways, let's just go. Go.
But also, good on you for keeping your eye on the prize and what the topic is, instead of descending into personal attacks or mockery. That doesn't advance the conversation.
Bearing's a cuck. Go!
Tim's the director now.
Is excited to be going to college. She can't wait to get out of her parents' house, to prove to them that she's an adult, and to prove to her new friends that she belongs. She heads to a campus party where she sees a guy that she has a crush on.
Can we skip this? We see it. It goes up to 304, I think.
It's like Groundhog Day,
Thanks, Kevin.
We're stuck watching the same.
Thank you.
With that out of the way, why your concerns about my video still stand.
Okay, with that out of the way, I'm going to explain why my concerns about his video still stands.
Cool. By the way, a concern stands, whereas concerns stand.
Okay.
Okay.
So now let's talk about what the law says. And we'll go first to Wikipedia for a general review before getting more specific. Laws regarding rape. Rape is a type of sexual assault initiated by one or more persons against another person without that person's consent. The act may be carried out by physical force, or where the person is under threat or manipulation, or with a person who is incapable of valid consent.
For consensual fuck's sake, Christy, I know what rape is. The issue at hand is whether or not what happened in that
No, I'm pretty sure, Bearing, you don't know what it is.
Can I also just say that, does he always do this? It's like, biblical prophecy, they write about stuff really accurately because they already know what happened. Does he always do this bearing prophecy where he knows what's going to happen in a video and then he just sets up a joke where he predicts what someone's going to say and then they say it?
Oh, yeah, that's totally a shtick, yeah.
Not that funny.
Like trope? Yeah. Okay, I was just wondering if that was a regular thing.
Saying this coming from a guy who thinks that Brett raped Sarah.
Kitty.
He doesn't know what...
Brett.
Hashtag justice for Brett.
Sorry, hashtag justice for Brett. He doesn't know.
Well, that's actually my opening salvo on this little pause. I will rephrase. He does know what rape is. He just doesn't care.
Yep.
Clearly,
that's kind of the
think,
position I've taken, is that he doesn't seem to really care. He doesn't seem to care really about anything.
Well, guys, you guys are being a bit well poisoning for me. I have to see a bit more. You're a bunch of liars and cucks, so...
Video.
Like everyone's being mind reading.
Regressives go.
Play the video.
Fucking regressives.
Kevin. Was rape. You're saying that based on the information we know, it was rape. I am saying that based on the information we know, it wasn't rape. But go on.
Definition.
Hilarious.
Whether or not consent.
What's he basing that on? He's not basing it on anything. He's like, we know it wasn't rape. No, you fucking don't.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, consent was present during the act. The term consent varies as well. Minors, for example, are often considered too young. Consent is also considered invalid if obtained under duress or from a person who does not have the ability to understand the nature of the act due to factors such as young age, mental disability, or substance intoxication.
Fuck-eyed, spasticated, shit-faced drunk for shizzle.
Many jurisdictions, such as Canada and several U.S. and Australian states, have abandoned the term rape in favor of other terms such as sexual assault, sexual intercourse without consent, criminal sexual conduct, etc.
Most of Chrisiossity's video goes on like this, explaining basic stuff we already know. Feel free to go and watch her entire 20-minute video. There's a link in the description. Now, after I watched her video and confirmed she was still wrong, I was thinking about the best way to respond when I stumbled across a comment left by one of Chrisiossity's followers, Matthew Morgan. And I must say, Matthew does a brilliant job of explaining the situation. He says it in a much more elegant and efficient way than I could have, so I'm simply going to read that. But before I do, there's a couple of legal definitions we need to understand.
All right, stop right here.
Crimes, except for strict liability crimes, have two
It's okay. It's see, he just went and said Chrisiossity's whole video is telling you stuff you already know. But now I'm going to tell you these definitions. And he's going to tell them the definitions that apparently they already know, because that's what I talked about in my video.
I'm going to tell you the definitions you don't know.
Also,
These are some new ones.
Can I just bring up
Let's expand our vocabulary here.
a slightly sarcastic but serious point nonetheless? Is he trying to teach men about rape?
Oh, gross. That's gross.
So how misandrist are you, Bearing?
Disgusting.
He's such a misandrist. He's such a feminazi.
It's
He's
so
a
bullshit.
feminazi regressive tuck.
Christie's video
Regressive beta.
is telling us a whole bunch of stuff we already know, and now I'm going to tell you why she's wrong. Don't worry
And
about
it's like
actually watching
20
it.
minutes of her just telling you things you already know.
It's funny how he's like, I watched the video to confirm she was wrong. So he watched it, but then he was like, yep, she's wrong.
And
Probably did the
Wrong
Sargon
is
thing.
confirmed.
Watched for 20 seconds, then skipped 5 minutes ahead.
And I was like, yep, I'm still fucking right about everything. Sorry, I just love doing Australian accents.
I love your soccer toad accent.
Well, there's no way you saying I love doing Australians could be taken out of context. So that's fine.
No, as a New Zealander, I'm sure they'll perfectly understand, and there'll be no hard feelings at all.
And there's one thing I need to say for my own. I said in my video that I wasn't a legal expert. I was just reading stuff, just telling people what I found. I put all my links out there, and I even said in the description as well.
Well, everyone already knew it, so.
I'm not a lawyer. Don't get your fucking legal advice off of YouTube. Like, educate yourself. I said that, all those things. So.
What? Don't get my legal advice off of YouTube? But it's so easy.
I don't know.
Anyways, video time.
Also,
Video time.
How were you telling people stuff they already knew if it was a lie?
I don't. Yeah.
Feminist
It's amazing.
fucking magic, I tell you.
Feminist magic.
It's amazing how I can tell them wrong things they already knew that were wrong. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's about it.
Video. Oops. American Anarchist has disappeared.
Technical terms for these elements are their Latin names: mens rea, meaning guilty mind, and actus reus, meaning the thing done. Generally, a crime is committed when a person commits a guilty act accompanied by a guilty mind. And quod erat demonstrandum. This is Latin for which is to be demonstrated. Often abbreviated as QED, the statement may appear at the conclusion of a text to signify that the author's overall argument has just been proven. Alright, so let's have a look at what Matthew Morgan had to say. You state we're going strictly by the information we're given. So right off the bat, the requirements for the actus reus criterion alone indicate that we cannot demonstrate sexual assault occurred because we have insufficient information regarding consent. We do not know the circumstances of who initiated the sexual encounter and who was able to give consent.
If that's the case, why did you say that whatever her name was, Sarah, was it or something, that she was guilty of rape?
Sarah.
Yep. Sarah
Why did you
raped
say that
Brett.
Sarah was the rapist then?
Well, someone was like he was being hypothetical or something, which is fine. So we have to be charitable to his, hypothetical thing.
But he certainly didn't have to be charitable to me.
Yeah, but we just have to be charitable to his hypothetical. So there you go.
Oh, yeah, we've got to obey Bearing. King Bearing.
Can I?
And of course, our side we have to do to the beyond a reasonable doubt standard. Our hypothetical, whatever argument that would be.
beyond a reasonable fucking doubt.
Can I,
People
can I
seem to be
challenge
confused
you
about.
would
Sorry?
that be charitable?
What's that, mate?
I was just saying, can I charitably tell him to go fuck himself? That would.
Yes.
I think that's only fair, given his double standards.
That is charitable
I think
for me.
this is essentially the same argument that going in and out of consciousness means that you could have consented. You know?
Yeah, they seem to like this guy seems to be saying, and they also all seem to be saying and think that consent is like a single event, that you consent and then you've got no recourse after that. Like,
And it just keeps going forever.
Just keeps
And
going.
if you go out of consciousness, nothing changes.
After vomiting all over the place, yeah.
Yeah.
If she agreed in the first place, if she went in and because he says something about her initiating the thing. What if she initiated the sexual encounter? Okay, sure, but that doesn't change the fact that after that, she withdrew her consent.
Well, you withdraw your consent if you're unconscious, or
if you give consent whilst you're sober, you then get drunk. He then begins to, do the deed. That you can't then say that isn't rape on the basis that hours before she said yes, and now she's unconscious, for fuck's sake. Because
but clearly she didn't consent while sober because she has no memory of doing it. When she was sober, she didn't do it. So she had to have been...
Unless they left that out or something. But...
I'm not even saying that's in this specific instance. I'm saying just in general. Under their incredibly generous to the rapist point of view, essentially, once she says yes once, you have full ejaculatory rights, which is ridiculous.
Well, we do know that she can't remember...
The thing about bad sex.
She can't remember initiating the sex or consenting to it, so she has no recollection or memory of the consent, and she wanted it to stop. And I would say that that is grounds enough to think that, at the very least, the idea that she consented is questionable. You know.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
well, and she couldn't have given her consent. You can't say that a person is incapable of giving consent, but consented. That's not a logically coherent statement.
Unless she's forgetting on purpose just to be evil because she wants to false rape accuse him because he's...
Well, and maybe she was... Sorry, go.
No, sorry, I was just going to say, and Christy mentioned it earlier, the very, I think, a perfect comparison. It wouldn't be allowed under contract law if they were that drunk. That contract wouldn't stand if they signed it in that condition, and this is no different.
They seem to be against the idea of like ongoing consent, of like they were like videos I've seen of like TLD or whatever talking about, when people suggest that during, before, during, and after you are continually checking, the idea that if you check and you ask and you say, hey, are you okay? Is this cool? What I'm doing right now, is that okay? That is automatically going to be like a buzzkill and the sex is going to stop or whatever, or that's a weird thing to do.
But I think it can get silly. I think it can get too far. Like, you can't be checking every 2 seconds, like, is this all right? Is that right?
I'm not saying that.
If,
but
the other person, like, winces or frowns or looks like this is not comfortable, then fucking stop.
Well, exactly. Well, that's what you mean. The ridiculous straw man, or the ridiculous situation is the straw man they've used of the ongoing consent thing. Actually, like in the video Sean Head did with Armored Skeptic, they literally have a scene they act out where they're, simulating sex, where he's reading out the same mantra of, oh, are you still consenting to do this thing, blah, 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 and then repeating, which obviously isn't what anyone's talking about.
I agree that would be a buzzkill because it's a ridiculous situation. That's not how sex...
Yeah, exactly, it's a straw man. No one in their right mind is suggesting that be taking place.
I think some, totally radical extremists are, but I'm certainly not.
But I'm pretty sure that they're not saying that this has to be the way that things are. It's education. It's educating.
But that's why they're radical extremists, because they want, 1 second consent every 2 seconds.
Well, there's also sort of implied consent that can happen by sort of
nonverbal cues,
enthusiastic participation, let's say, or even just participation. So that you don't have to keep saying, yes, I am a free-minded body consenting to this.
But then they say but if the girl winces, that means that you've turned into a rapist. I would say no, because it's combined with, it's multiple factors. It's also verbal communication. So it's both combined.
Yeah. It's not just one. It's probably worth checking verbally at that point.
Yeah, are you okay?
Yeah.
There you go. You just solved it. So you were right. Oh yeah, I'm fine.
It's not a particle because at that point, if she's wincing, she's probably not feeling it. You know what I mean? She's probably
You
not.
could be like,
into it.
oh yeah, you just, you know, you are crushing my
hit a
leg.
nerve.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You could have hit a nerve for all you know, and now it hurts her, and she's wincing. You ask her, is it okay? She tells you whatever the problem is. You fix the problem. And sometimes the problem may not be that she wants you to stop. Sometimes the problem is just she wants you to, like, move because you might be, I don't know, crushing her knee or something.
And also, if it's
like
someone you're familiar with, you might have a pre-understanding of the kind of things that are okay in your relationship. So.
Also, do any of you guys remember when the manosphere was bitching about this app that would record when a woman consented and then but it didn't record. It didn't record when they withdrew it. I think I saw specifically this app on Kevin Logan's Sandman video where Sandman was like...
The first one I brought up on was the one with Turtle and Monkey. Basically, the idea is you have you record it on like a mobile phone, like a telephone with a camera. Both parties giving consent beforehand.
Yeah.
Right, and the idea being therefore that it's all above board. But the example I gave was if, having done that, the man then proceeds to be, or indeed the woman proceeds to be, a real evil piece of shit, is physically abusive to the person, they would then obviously want to withdraw consent. But what would be the person, the aggressor in that situation, raping the other person, and then saying, "Oh look, I've got evidence that the person consented."
Yeah.
It's basically a rapist's get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was the big problem with the app. Like, I was kind of thinking, like, well, if you have that app, you wouldn't mind if feminists designed an app that recorded whenever consent was withdrawn, right?
Yeah.
Because...
it's paranoia. I'm sorry, it's not... Do they really think there's this epidemic of false rape accusations? There aren't that many rape...
Well, 2J does.
So it's not... I mean, they act like it is this wild thing that's happening. And I'm agreeing that it's wrong to do it, and it's... Every time it happens, it's wrong, but, what are they... They're acting like women are just the most evil creatures in the world, just out to get you.
They want us to focus on the tiny, tiny sliver of a percentage or whatever, the 2 to 8% or whatever, that are false. And rather than the 96% that never actually are genuine rapes that never go to fucking trial.
Yeah. I think one way to reduce the number of accusations would be to teach on consent, so that people have a better understanding of what consent is and also the role alcohol plays, and maybe make some personal rules like don't have sex with someone if you wouldn't trust them behind the wheels of your car.
How hard is it not to have sex with people? Is it really, really hard not to have...
It's really... Sorry, there's a really good pun there.
As a male with sexual urges who has to control his sexual urges, it's very difficult to not have sex with people. I mean, all the time, just wanting it.
I was about to say that's a really clumsy.
Well, in that case, I was just about to say every man has. Well, not every man. Most men have a set of hands, and if not, they're probably not at a party drinking.
Yeah.
Just
well, to answer directly Chrissy's question there. For the majority of my life, I've not had any problem not having sex. It's been fine. That's why, you know. Anyway,
okay, video.
Video.
Apparently, there's hope for me. The chat's saying there's hope for me. It was awesome.
Oh.
Cool.
Yes, we can assume Sarah was too drunk to consent because we were given information about vomiting, gaps in memory, etc. But you are absolutely assuming, with no basis at all, that Brett A. initiated the sexual interaction, and so B. either sought consent that Sarah could not give or ignored consent completely. Now, if he did initiate, she was in no state to consent, and he is a sexual assaulter, but we have no information on that.
So, if we have no information on that, why is it that you have decided that the reverse, that Sarah is the rapist?
The real possibility remains, especially given that she remembers flirting with him and had a crush on him, that she initiated. We also have no information on his state of inebriation. If she initiated and he was drunk, to even the minimum extent considered to remove the ability to consent, remember, then she is a sexual assaulter, even though she remembers wanting it to stop. If she initiated and he was not drunk, well, that could be a pickle, and I could see him getting in hot water. But from the information we have been given in the talk, we don't know. Quad erectum and
Bearing is right. Bearing is
right. There are a few things I need to bring up here because this drove me crazy.
Turns out I was right about everything.
Yeah. All right. So first of all, I get all these like government links. I get all these different links saying one thing. He reads an internet comment and says, "See, done." Yeah, I'm right. Like,
I think Bearing was right. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, it was in a YouTube comment section, so it has to be right.
Look how fucking...
Can't be wrong.
I had to confirm it was wrong. I confirmed it was wrong, and then this guy said I was right. So
no, and
solved.
On the screen, because we were talking about Australia's laws, because every laws are different everywhere, right? And it does depend on where you live and where you don't live. But literally on the screen, but I didn't bother to read it because we had no information that Brett was drunk. So why would I read about him being drunk? But on the screen, in their laws, it basically says, the accused person is their intoxication, their self-induced intoxication is irrelevant because they assume that if they were that drunk that they would not be doing the physical deed that she was sitting there wishing he would stop doing. So I don't know if that's true. I'm not a doctor. This isn't my law. I'm not, there's a lot that I don't know about this sort of thing, but I know that that's legally.
Well,
that's how they look at it.
If he wasn't consenting, he wouldn't be doing the thing. Like if he was continuing to do a thing, so he was consenting. She was not. If
she wanted it to stop and she was doing it, she would have just not done it anymore.
Yes, but she was
stopped.
There having it done to her while thinking she wanted it to stop. How more clear does it need to be? That's he's fucking.
Well, here I've got the University of Southern California Sexual Assault Resource Center. What is consent? Consent is an ongoing process in any sexual interaction, may be withdrawn at any time during a sexual interaction, and that means that who initiated doesn't decide who is consenting. Like you may have consented to the initial interaction, like the start of the sexual interaction, but you can lose consent part of the way through, depending on what's happening. Unless you're saying that if somebody initiates sex, that means that it's just open season and it can just go anywhere. You're basically saying, I now own your body. I can do whatever the fuck I want to you now because we were making out. Like that's not how it works. Yeah.
And people understand that when it comes to not sex, like the tea analogy. If you ask someone, do they want a cup of tea, and then they say yeah, and then you give them the cup of tea and they start drinking it, but then they go, actually, I don't want this tea anymore. You don't then pour the tea down their throat and force them to freaking drink it.
And you're like, I'm just gonna put this massive turd in your tea now. Like, excuse me, don't do that. I just prefer to drink the tea normally.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you consented to drink this tea, motherfucker.
Yeah, you fucking.
It's like you're changing the tea into something I don't want to drink.
We decided to put kraut in the tea.
Chrissy, was there something that you wanted to say, Chrisiousity?
Yes, there is. There's.
Sorry, I'm an awful moderator.
I'm gonna try not to rant, but because it really annoyed me it took me days to put together this whole thing, like of reading links and going through stuff, and obviously nobody watched it. Nobody read the links. Nobody, did I have to actually sit there and read every single word for you like you're a child? You couldn't, I don't assume that if you're an anti-feminist, that makes you wrong, right? People have sent me links, and so far they've been pretty stupid, but they've sent them, and I looked at them, I read them through, but he had his video up against me in a matter of hours because he can't be bothered. He can't be fucked. He doesn't care.
I still can't get over it.
Also, look at this.
After I confirmed that she was wrong.
Look at his citation.
Confirmed how?
So
how did you confirm? How did you confirm that I was wrong?
Because I read a
Someone
thing.
Someone said it on YouTube, therefore it must be 100% correct.
Like,
Well,
what
I
is
mean,
this?
look at Chrissy's citations versus Bearing's citation. Bearing's citation is a comment left on his video.
On fucking video.
And Chrissy
QED,
is a bunch of different links.
QED.
Guys, if you guys check the chat, everything is like, Tim, ditch these losers.
Tim, ditch these losers. Come to Twitter.
Tim, join
Come
us.
to Twitter.
Come on, Tim. We love you, Tim. Be our friend. Oh my God.
Bring the cat.
Come join the side that knows about where the rape occurred.
Take the rape pill. Tim, Bearing has some tea for you.
Sarah was raping you. She wanted.
No, take the blue pill. Take
I can't,
the blue
guys.
pill,
Christy's
Tim.
got something over me. I'm stuck
Talking
here.
about bringing the fucking cat. Rory Cats.
Hey! Hi, Rory Cat.
Oh, look at little Rory
Rory Cats
Cat.
ain't shit.
I have this.
Did you just say your cat is shit? Who said that?
I got Belfie. Check this out,
I have a track
motherfucker.
that makes a noise when you put money in.
Yeah. Fuck your cat, Kevin.
I will not be doing that. Thank you.
Does not look happy.
Look at Belfie.
That's not a cat. That's a fucking catopotamus. Look at it.
Hey,
Ridiculous.
Oh, he's beautiful.
Okay.
Yes, that's right. I'm fat shaming. I'm fat shaming a cat.
Just a random thought. If you fuck a cat, could it be said that you get pussy? Just wondering.
Good God. Don't.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
What have you done?
Wait.
Destroyed our hangout.
Broke the chat.
Bearing's gonna make a video about this.
Anyway, fucking
Phone.
video.
All right, go on. We're almost done.
Purely on their unfounded assumption, has deemed a man to be in the wrong, and in this case guilty of a serious crime. I never thought I'd see a feminist do something like that. You see, Chrisiosity, the simple fact is, in order for this to have been rape, it would have to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law that it was rape. And unless you fabricate or misremember the details as given to us in a TEDx talk, you cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt that rape has occurred here.
And so, Barry, what I want to say here is I'm assuming you don't want anybody to be hurt, and I'm assuming you don't want to lead people astray or to give them a false impression of what laws are and what they can and cannot do according to their legal statutes. And I'm assuming you don't want to see people kicked out of college or put in jail. Like, I'm assuming all of those things.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that one of the two assumptions you have made here is
Those are unfair assumptions.
you don't want to lead people astray.
Well, he said they're not all true. Also, he can't count to three. Of the three assumptions, apparently only one of them is true.
He has come to the
All
conclusion.
of those assumptions are untrue.
He has come to the conclusion that one, the accusation is false. That Sarah's rape accusation is false. It seems that's what
Well,
he's
he was
saying.
right.
And also, he was right. And also that Brett was actually assaulted by Sarah, and he has the balls to tell you that you're making shit up.
Well, I never said that Brett could be. I said he could be, but not that he would be found guilty. It would totally depend. It would depend on the laws. It would depend on what the investigation found. It would depend on a number of different factors. You know, that doesn't. It's ridiculous.
But he is actually saying that the accusation was false. He said that the accusation was false. And he said that Brett was raped.
Again, don't conflate did a rape happen and can you prove the rape happened by Brett? Those are two different questions, right? That's where they are. I mean,
Sorry. Oh, just looking at the chat.
And like,
well, exactly. If a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound.
it may not. No. Maybe it makes a sound. Maybe it doesn't. But it's down. It's fallen. You know. Even if I can't prove that Brett did it, even if I can't prove that it was done, you know, I used in my video an example like if Brett had murdered her and nobody found out, she'd still be dead. You know, it's not. There's the question of, did a rape happen? Well, you know, this is an imaginary situation, so nothing happened. But So, but
justice for Brett.
but
I think basically the whole thing is like the difference between what actually occurred and what will occur in a court of law. And those are two different questions. But it seems to me he's adjudicated on what actually happened. He's decided that there wasn't a rape. Whereas we've not decided on what actually happened. We're just saying that if it was in a court of law, potentially, I mean, this could be found to be rape because the question of consent here is shady. And it is.
And then he could go to jail for a long time, and it would be better if he didn't do that, and it would be better if nobody got raped.
You were watching out for this guy in the first place, for fuck's sake.
Just for people watching it, to be clear, like if somebody is too drunk to give consent, don't have sex with them.
Yeah, like, Brett, bro, this doesn't look too good. Just be careful, Brett.
Maybe Brett hasn't had proper education in this sort of stuff. So maybe he thinks he's just having sex with people. So maybe it would be good if there was.
Maybe this Brett eats human flesh. You know, he could be like fucking. He could be like John Wayne Gacy. He like lures kids into his basement and eats them because he's fictional. He could do like. He could be like Ted Bundy.
Seriously.
I'm just saying in this situation it means that like I'm just saying if education had taken place and people had, you know, maybe Brett wouldn't be in this situation if he had proper consent education. Maybe.
And if he didn't eat human flesh and babies.
Yeah, this is true.
So,
you know,
video?
Teach men not to eat.
Teach Brett not to eat babies. And, all right, go.
Hashtag not all babies.
In this scenario, you got it wrong.
So I'm just going to say, Bearing, you know, I don't care if you insult me, if you make it out that I'm a terrible person, or like, none of that really matters.
I think I've been rather civil in my interactions with you.
All I really care about is
that level of
Bearing
bullshit.
and civil. Bearing and
We just
civil
have a
don't
very-
belong in the same
When Sargon of Akkad called me a dishonest partisan liar, and then I said, fuck you, Sargon, and then he was like, I've been nothing but civil. It's like, you called me a fucking dishonest liar, you pile of shit. God.
Well, like I said earlier about Bearing wanting to get in and saying, why won't you invite me, you streak of piss? Brilliant. Amazing. So civil.
Pussy! Anyways.
No, right, no. Okay. Sorry, I forgot I was doing the fucking projectionist word as well.
Video.
mention it to the thousands and thousands of people who are watching, who may be young men, who may be going off to college or going to go off to college in a few years, and who may actually not know this.
It has been mentioned.
You know, obviously, I'm going to tell these people, do not get your legal advice from a cartoon bear on YouTube.
You know, I couldn't agree more. Don't get your legal advice from a cartoon bear on YouTube. But I would add to that.
Yeah, but get your legal rulings from some prick in the comment section. Brilliant.
Especially don't get your legal advice from a man-hating feminist on YouTube. Anyway, I hope to hear from you soon, Chrisiousity. Cheerio.
Yeah.
Because he's so civil.
Man-hating feminist.
Yeah, I've been so civil, you man-hater.
That's some fucking civil shit right there. Fuck.
You're just too much of a bitch.
That lying piece of garbage was pretty civil.
Yeah, so that apology will not be forthcoming because, you know, fuck you.
Why are you mad?
I hate you.
Do you hate me?
Bearing,
you know I don't hate you.
Go fuck yourself.
But I'm a dude. Or am I? I don't know. I'm a cuck.
Yes.
So
what makes a man?
Calling.
A man? Yes.
Yeah.
Technically I am.
A man. Well, I think that in terms of all the topics we wanted to cover.
Yeah, that pretty much covers what we wanted to go through, I think.
They really are a hive mind. It's amazing because I'm looking at like the chat and like heaps of it was like Tim is in the wrong stream, Tim is savable, save Tim, and then instantly it all changed instantly to Christy is fat, And now it's just Christy's fat, Christy's fat, Christy's fat. So obviously they're just listening to the other stream.
Oh yeah, did you hear?
When those guys say shit,
Did you
they
guys
just
hear?
start mirroring it and just like fucking peons, you know?
Another thing that they do is they'll shout something out like press 1 if you think Trump should build the wall, and a whole bunch will jump in
It's
and
like
press
one.
The wall is not going to happen, fucking idiots. Jesus Christ.
Oh, now it says American Anarchist is retarded.
No, he's alright.
Really?
Well, I mean, they've got this,
Come on, more at me. Come on. I want to hear more things.
We are the hive.
It's just
We're
fascinating.
talking about issues like consent.
Oh, there we go. Now they're
and
doing
levels
one.
of
Now they're doing
intoxication.
one. Jesus Christ. I want to get an army of people I can just order to do shit like this. It's ridiculous.
It's kind of weird, eh?
Yeah, it's bizarre.
But the thing is, you need to pander to right-wing scum more then, and you probably will get an army like that.
What should I get them to do besides just leave hateful comments on YouTube?
It is. It's a sociological experiment.
Well, yeah, what am I going
kind
to
of
do?
I'm going to get them to eliminate all men.
Do you guys see when the whole...
Except me.
If you ever try to do the same thing with anarchists, you can never get them to do it. But if you look at anyone on the far right, they're immediately, like, they'll jump to your defense as quickly as possible, or not even to your defense, but simply to fight for you. Like,
so with anarchists, you're like, everybody press 1, and they're like 5. And you're like, fuck, 7. Fucking anarchists. I said 1.
See when
well, no, it's like they'll either not agree with me, or they'll let me do it, like they'll let me handle my battles on my own, which I actually appreciate, because I don't want to have this army that literally at the flick of my opinion ends up shutting people down because
but then you get wrecked. So.
I have a problem.
Oh.
You know, I've just noticed. You know the video we just looked at? I'm not wearing a fedora. I'm wearing a fez. How dare you?
Same diff.
It's a fez.
It's a fez.
It's a virgin hat. I'll call it that.
What has Kevin just noticed? I want to know.
Well, I think we might be wrong on everything because his video, right, has 6,014 upvotes and only 26 downvotes. So clearly we're wrong.
We did breach. We've got 4,684 dislikes, and
there's no hive mind going on there.
No, not at all.
He confirmed he was right, if you remember.
We must be completely wrong because
it's funny how Bearing talks about the mob. It's funny. Bearing talks about mob mentality and about how the mob is a bad thing. Yet he appeals to the mob when he's trying to say who's right. He's like, well, because I got all these likes and almost no dislikes, and because I got more likes than you and you got a whole ton of dislikes, you must be wrong and I must be right. That's exactly what mob mentality is the idea that just because...
Not just that, but...
Appeal to popularity, yeah.
It's not just the appeal to popularity, or the arguments about popular thing. It's the clean your own house before having to go at other people. Do you know what I mean? Like, his entire fucking... Well, not entire, but the majority of his fan base have been... a mob. That's what his fan base is. That's what it does, and he's more than happy to play into that.
But he also
I've left the link below to the video. You can go and check that out if you want to.
Well, I mean, as I've said, I talked to some Bearing fans who seemed like they seemed pretty cool, but I got to say that they were like fucking like 1 out of 10. The rest of it was just like regressive cuck, faggot or whatever. And
someone's just left.
Well, but then like every now and then, some guy comes along and he makes a good argument. I'm like, that's interesting. And you may be a Bearing fan, complete.
So I've come across 1 or 2 good arguments in my day when it comes to people absolutely disagreeing with me.
But you have
even
to,
like
you
when
have
it comes
to
to a right-wing stance.
Yeah.
But
Kevin has something to say.
It's not the general thing. It's usually stuff like you're retarded or get the fuck off YouTube, go back to Tumblr, which is funny because I don't even like Tumblr.
Yeah, and then when you say you're being a douche, they're like, you can't handle criticism.
Do you know how to identify how to identify when they're egalitarians is when they use sexist slurs like cunt and mangina and cuck. That's how you can tell they're really egalitarians and for the equality of the sexes.
To be fair, I
find it funny when they call Onision a cuck all the time because I'm like, well, Onision's not really well liked by a lot of feminists. Like, why are you calling him a cuck? Like, because you disagree with him?
Kevin was going to say something.
Yeah, what does Kim want to
Oh
say?
no, it's just going to be another silly joke. Someone left a comment on my channel page, and it says Bearing is correct, but get this, there are 4 exclamation points after it. So
Ooh.
Was it in
All
caps?
must be correct.
Now, like, well, what is
That's
he
Q.
correct about? Okay,
QE.
somebody explain what he's correct about and why.
He's correct that it
Oh,
wasn't
he's right
rape.
about everything.
Feminist challenge.
He's correct that it wasn't rape because he's got magical mind reading powers.
He's correct that it wasn't rape, but he's also correct that he raped, that she raped him, and that it was a false.
I think we were just accusing Bearing there. Like he raped.
Well, it wasn't rape because it was
This
make
escalated.
but the principle of getting valid consent before sex, otherwise it's against the law,
and it's ongoing. So
established.
Yes. And if someone is face spasticated drunk, then you probably shouldn't be having sex with them.
Yeah, puke it
Yeah,
outside your room.
have him explain exactly where you went wrong, the citation and his citation as to why you were wrong, and explain the evidence.
I'm interested in how he can say you're wrong without strawmanning you, basically, without basically just making up this shitty position for you and then taking that apart. Because that's sort of what people do.
That Brett is guilty and we can take him to jail tomorrow.
The only way that your hangout will be valid is if you prove it was rape. Because I'm just putting this arbitrary success criteria onto your hangout for you. It's like, okay.
It makes sense why in the law you may not necessarily be able to convict Brett, because if we just let Brett through with lack of evidence, or not lack of evidence, but some evidence lacking, like there are certain details left out, which means it's not proven beyond a reasonable doubt. I understand why you can't just let that guy through and put him in a cell.
Yeah.
Because it's an absolutely flawed system where if we just decide that everyone who's accused is guilty, we get a lot of people who aren't guilty who end up in prison, and we want as few of those as possible. But we also want to get in as many guilty people as possible, so it's always a balance between those two.
We're not saying that rape should have its own rules and that we should just carry people off to jail immediately as soon as they've been accused. They have the right to the trial. They have the right to due process, same as everybody else in every other kind of case. It's like you said, there's just some sort of crazy straw man. I don't even know what it is.
And to also take the cases seriously so that, rape kits get tested.
Right.
So that the people who are guilty are taken out of the system.
We don't need to bother with any of that stuff because all rape accusations are false. So,
right. I mean, for a time, and hopefully some rehabilitation, ideally.
Well, anyway, I just find it funny that that they're calling the engineering major as the unintelligent person. Like, I just find it hilarious because they were calling me retarded, but it's like, well, I bet none of you guys had advanced placement calculus in high school, so if you want to play that game, just let me know.
Jeff wants you on his stream, Tim, apparently.
I know, but I mean...
Jeff wants you on a stream. Jeff wants you on a stream. Jeff wanted on a stream.
Romance going on there.
Yeah.
And they've clearly sent those people over to tell you that.
To woo you.
Why do you want?
What does he want
Tim,
to talk about?
Jeff? Are you like in love with Tim or something? What's your problem? God.
Jeff didn't even ask me to hang out.
And there's still 1,100 people watching 3 hours in.
This has been insanely long.
I mean, we've been going 3 hours, so... Tim is a virgin. That's not true. I'm not a virgin.
Tim will come
exactly
on
what you would
stream
expect a virgin to say.
As long as you prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Bearing is actually a marshmallow in space.
Right. I want to say something though. I'm done with this. Like, Brett is fine because he doesn't exist. Sarah is fine because she doesn't exist. And I'm done with it. I'm done with arguing.
Godfather.
At this point. I
think I'm out. And they pull me back in.
I've said what I need to say, which is don't have sex with completely drunk, intoxicated people, because that's not okay. Okay, just don't do that. No matter whose gender it is.
I remember those.
That's all.
And if you think something happened, don't say anything because it's bogus and you're a liar. Bitch.
Oh, funny enough, the first comment I got on my video about this subject was someone. It was sarcastic. Someone's like, "What? I can't have sex with passed out girls? That means I can't have sex ever. Where are your priorities, man?"
I just want to say that I think that, for all of the drama, the core issue here is consent, and it's an issue that a lot of people don't understand very well. And it's a concept that's different from country to country and state to state. And if this discussion or drama has done nothing more than make a whole lot more people aware of consent and come to the video and have us talk about this, then, well, it was, of course, it's always being a hassle being swarmed. But I would take happiness in the good that we have done by having this long discussion.
Yeah.
I think 3 hours is normally a good cutoff point.
I need some breakfast.
Otherwise, it just goes on
Yeah,
forever.
I know, Tim. Ours was almost 4 hours. It was 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like that we're going to. I'm going to mute all you motherfuckers if you don't shut up.
Okay, good. Goodbye.
It sounds like we're going to wrap this up here. Thanks for everyone who was watching. To all the Bearing fans out there, it's always a pleasure to have you. So thanks for stopping by. Suck my dick. I mean, you're so lovely.
No.
Michael gets punch drunk after a couple hours.
So I get a bit antsy, But no, it was fun. I think, like Christy said, the takeaway from this should be the consent education. It's very important for people to come to understand how consent works, because a lot of people just kind of don't, unfortunately. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the little stream. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you hopefully next time. Bye.
Bye.